We will now begin with the part 1, the MCQ or the electronic part for the term 3 exam. This is for the grade 10 advance. The first question is to graph and analyze power functions. Here we will look into the end behavior first. Look at these two graphs. Now, first one is similar to a parabola and the second one is like a cubic function. Now, the thing is, all the even powers, x squared, x power 4, x power 6, x power 8, or it can be any power, x power 122. If it's even, it will be similar to the shape, like a parabola. It might vary in the thickness over here, it might be flat and then come up, but it's similar to like this. Now what happens is, end behavior means what's happening at the ends, right? We can deduce it from this graph. All the even powers will have the same end behaviors. Whereas odd power graph, when it's positive, both are positive, the right side, it's like this. It goes, the right side will always go up, the left side will always go down. So this is the function for the odd powers. Now you can see here the end behaviors will not change. You can quite memorize this as well if you want, It's minus infinity to plus infinity. Over here it's plus infinity and plus infinity. I'll explain what this is. See, now there are calculator methods for this as well. But if the graphs are very complicated, you may not be able to interpret it easily in the calculator. So that's why the easiest way to remember this problem is just to understand these graphs. If you have any even power, the right side goes up. So as x tends to positive or negative infinity, so negative infinity means left side, x is negative infinity here, and x is positive infinity means over here. See this side. What is happening to the graph? It's going up, right? If it is going up, it's infinity. That's it. Up is this side. It's going up to infinity. If it was down, minus infinity. So whenever even power, doesn't matter what, these will remain the standard everywhere. See, x is minus infinity, x is plus infinity. The right side, the f of x, or sometimes you might see y tends to, means f of x itself. This is what? Minus infinity or plus infinity. In this case, see, look, right side graph is going up, left side graph is going down. So we write right side positive infinity, left side minus infinity. And that's the answers. Now domain is all real numbers, range is also all real numbers. But when it is even power, remember, domain means all x values are possible. But is there any part of the graph below this 0? No. So the range means y-axis is only above or greater than or equal to 0. That means more than 0, positive values only. Now what if it's minus? So if you have minus x squared, it opens downwards. So here the end behavior you can see, for both x negative infinity or positive infinity, it's minus infinity itself because it's downwards. Here, if it's odd power but minus, left side goes up, right side goes down. So as x tends to minus infinity will be positive infinity will be negative infinity. That's it. Now here, always odd power functions are always all real numbers for domain and range. But the range for the even power functions are, it depends. Now, if it's minus, it's always less than or equal to 0 for range. Only values less than 0. And now we will look over here. This is what? A even function and it's positive. So its graph will be something like this, okay? So the end behavior is as x tends to minus infinity, or you can even write as x tends to positive infinity first. F of x is what? Infinity only. F of x is also positive infinity. So this is the final answer. You can see as x tends to minus infinity, its f of x is positive infinity. As x to positive infinity also the same thing. What about domain? It's all real numbers always. Range is for positive function 0 to infinity. Now here there is one important thing to remember. Whenever you have infinities, right? When it's like minus infinity, comma, positive infinity, you put brackets, it will always be small brackets, this one. Open brackets, okay, we call it. Now, when it's a number like 2, which is included, greater than or equal to x, like this, okay, 2 is greater. Like this, whenever you have inequality sign, the big brackets are used, or closed brackets, okay. Now, until infinity, it will be small brackets. So here you can see the 0 is having close brackets. Why? Because all real numbers greater than or equal to 0 are the range, right? That's why. But infinity will only have the small bracket. What about this? Let's just quickly draw it up. The left side goes up and then the right side goes down. So here, as x tends to minus infinity, then x tends to positive infinity. This won't change. What is f of x here? It's going infinity. Over here, f of x is negative infinity. That's it. That is the answer. And domain and range is all real numbers here. So this is it. You can see as x tends to infinity, it is negative infinity, whereas minus infinity was positive infinity. Domain and range, all real numbers means from minus infinity to positive infinity, means all countable numbers are included. That's it, guys. Those are two different types. Same way you can solve the other problems. They're very straightforward. Look at the power and look at the sign and easily write them out. Even over here, it's even power. Now for this problem here, question number 5, use a model, shape a parabolic reflector inside a flashlight that can be modeled by this function. Graph the function f of x, state the domain and range. Now you need to state the domain and range. Looking at this only you can tell it is all real numbers is the domain. Range is all numbers greater than 0. So I'll just write it out over here. For domain, it would be minus infinity to positive infinity. Range would be 0. This is closed like this. And the small bracket here. Now, how do you graph it up? I will show you. Let's take our calculators now. You need to press mode and then look over here. 7 gives you the table option. Write the function. It is 4 divided by 3 and alpha x squared. Now, there's only one equation to graph. Some of you may not have this option, so even if you have it, just press equal to. Now, where do you want to start? I generally start from, say, minus 5 to 5. That is a reasonable value. You're not going to plot too many points as well. And step 1 is reasonable. Now we get a lot of values. So at negative 5 over here, this is the value, and so on, right? Since you're having MCQ, you do not need to graph it by yourself. There'll be options. Just try matching these values with any one of the graph. The correct graph will be the answer. Now here you can see they have taken values of, and they have written in fractions, but you can write it like this. It's absolutely fine. See, minus 2, what is the answer? It's 5 by 3. Yeah, 5 1/3 is 5.333. Yeah, 1 1/3 is 1.333. That's the answers, right? And also, if you want the fraction symbol, you can see over here it's 4 by 3. You won't get it as mixed fractions. 1 1/3 is not there, but this is basically 4 by 3. So that's how we do it. And then you can easily check for the graph. So domain and range over here is written. If they ask you n behaviors, both are going upside. So for minus infinity and plus infinity, it's infinity itself. Similarly, over here, there's one more equation. Same thing, use the table method, plot some values and graph it up. You don't need to manually solve this. This column at all is not required. X and Y is more than enough. Now, you don't need to take so many values. Take, say, around minus 5 to 5, more than plenty. So, and when you graph it, you get something like this. Especially for cubic graph, right? Please take the values, say, from minus 5 to 5, because you will have this variation. So this is important. And you're not going to graph it by yourselves. You're going to just check. There are 4 graphs in the option. Check which closely matches from the table which you got from your calculator. So when you match it up, you'll get one correct answer. That is the end of the question 1. If you have any doubts, clarification, please post them in the comments. Please remember the n behavior formulas, x power 2, x power 3 plus and minus. Once you know those formulas, this topic is very, very easy. The second question is to graph and analyze polynomial functions. The starting questions are very simple. All you need to know is what's the degree and the leading coefficient. Degree is for a variable, that's the power. See, this is a degree. If you have no power, there's a variable n over here, or imagine it's just x. There's no power, that means it's 1. Over here in the first thing, the degree is 1. What is the leading coefficient? The leading coefficient means, imagine you have a term like this, x power 3 plus 2x squared minus 3x. You should see what is the highest degree. It's 3, right? What is the number beside it, the coefficient of the highest degree? Over here, there is nothing. That means it's 1. So the leading coefficient is 1. Over here, you can see the leading. Okay, this we will come to it in a minute because we have to multiply this and then solve it up. Now imagine you had 4x to the power 4 over here minus this much. And then now the leading coefficient would be 4. If it was minus 4, it will be minus 4 and so on. So it's very simple. Now this one over here, the degree is 1 and the leading coefficient is also 1. What about this over here? You need to simplify first. You need to start multiplying by FOIL method. That would mean it will be, see now this multiplication, you have to do it by writing. There is no other way. So it will be 8, 4 times 2 is 2 times 4 is 8, x to the power 3. And now, see, you can stop here if you want because they only want the degree and the leading coefficient. Now, if you continue further, no matter what, it won't be more than or equal to x power 3. Why? Because there is only one multiplication over here that will give you the highest degree. Now, if you multiply over here, it is just x. This and see this and this, it'll just be x square, and this will be just a number. So you can stop. Only this is enough. Here the degree is 3 and the leading coefficient is 8. That's the answer. See, the leading coefficient will be 8 and degree is 3. No matter what, the other terms will not be higher than the first one. So that's why you can stop just over there and write the answer. Because the options will be there, you have to just select the correct answer, right? Degree 3 and leading coefficient 8. Same way over here, you can see the degree is 5 and the leading coefficient is minus 5. What about this one over here? The degree is 6 and 7. Yeah, leading coefficient is 7, the degree is 6. Now what they have done is they have just rearranged and written with the highest degree starting at the first. This is not required, you can just see the highest degree and write it. Now what about these? See, the degree over here is 4 and even over here it is 4 actually because 2 plus 2 is 4, right? But since we are dealing with one variable, it's clearly mentioned it's one variable. Now this is not a one variable, there are two separate variables. So no, this is not a polynomial in one variable. So that's it. Here you can see there is divided by 1 divided by r squared. That means r to the power minus 2, right? This is not a polynomial. If it was say square root, no. R to the power 1 by 3, no. All these are not considered over here. Okay, so only if the powers are 1, 2, 3 and positive integers, only they are considered. So this is not a polynomial because there's a negative power here. Now we have a real world problem. Dylan drew n dots on a piece of paper, making sure that no set of 3 points were collinear. The number of triangles can be made out by using the dots as the vertices is equal to this function over here, where n is greater than or equal to 0. If Dylan drew 15 dots, how many triangles can be made? Now here this n means number of dots, right? So you've got 15 dots. Just substitute n. So you can see how much triangles can be made. Just substitute over here and solve it up. Look over here, instead of n, you're substituting 15 because they asked for 15. The answer is 455. How do you sketch? You can just put this in the calculator. I'll show you now. All you need to do is mode and then press 7 and type this equation as it is. It's 1 by 6 multiplied by n is not there. We write it as x to the power 3 and then we have minus 3x squared. And lastly, we have plus 2 times n. So this and this over here. And press equal to. There is no another function. You may not have this option as well. Directly jump to the start. Now we will start at say 0 because they have told it's greater than or equal to 0. And let's say, I think so 5 or 7 is enough to plot. And step, let's give 1. And you can see these are the values. For 0, it's 0. 1, it's 0. And over here now the values are changing. You can see that's the table. Over here you can see these are the answers. We got more values, but that's fine. With this table, which can be easily obtained from the calculator, graph it out. 0 is 0, 1 is 0, 2 is 0. What about 3? It's 1. 4, you can see it's 4. And over about 5, it's 10, and it increases. So this is the rough sketch. But see, you don't have to sketch it. There will be options. So just graph it out in the calculator and match the correct graph. Eliminate the others. Similarly, there's another problem. The volume of a drill bit can be estimated by the formula for a cone. This is the given. V is equal to 1/3 pi HR squared, where h is the height of the bit and r is the radius. Substituting root 3 by 3 r for h, the volume of the drill bit can be estimated over here. Now, instead of the height, they have substituted this value here, and you got the new equation. What is the volume of the drill bit with the radius 3 centimeters? Just you substitute the r as 3 and solve for the volume. Then you need to sketch the graph, just like what we did a while ago. Over here, put it in the calculator and graph it out. Take some values, say 0 to 5 or 0 to 7 or something, and then graph it out. And the last type of problems here, use the graph, state the number of real zeros of the function. What are real zeros? Real zeros means if a graph touches the x-axis. See, this is zeros. Now over here, you know parabola, right? You have an equation of parabola like this, imagine. This has roots, but they are imaginary because it doesn't touch the x-axis. It will be imaginary roots. It will be plus or minus something like this. So this is not touching the x-axis, but if it touches the x-axis, these are the roots. These are not imaginary roots, they are real roots. Now here we have one root, over here there are 4, over here 1 to 3 roots. That's it. So the answer is 3, 4 and 1, 4 and 3. Very straightforward. Over here there are 2 roots, 2 real roots, and there can be imaginary as well. And there are 3 roots over here, and lastly over here 3 roots. Now this is the last problem. They have told to examine this particular function, and another function g of x is given over here in the graph, which is having greater maximum. Now what you need to do is put this equation in the calculator, mode 7, and you will plot the points. Get some, values and plot it out. This is the graph. Now relative maximum means this maximum point. Can you see? Here it's about 1. Here you can see 1, 2, 2.5, I guess. See, the first answer. F of x is having a relative maximum of 2.5, whereas g of x is only having 1. So which is having maximum, relative maximum? This one, f of x function. Next one, compare the zeros. Where is the 0? 1, 2, 3 zeros. These are the 3, that is at say minus 1.5, 0.5 or 0.25, I guess. And then over here 1, 2, 3 point something. Whereas over here, where are the zeros? At 0.5 and minus 0.5, something like that, near there. So over here they have the exact values. Now you can use your calculator as well to find the answers. I'll show you. If you have been given the equation like this, you can just go to mode equation, and this is option number 4, and type the coefficients. Before x cube it's 1, minus 2, minus 4, and lastly 1. And then what you do is see over here, these are the x values for this graph. Over here it's already given, you can see them from the graph and write it out. X-intercepts. Y-intercept is the y-axis. Where does the graph touch the y-axis? At this 1. What about this? Over here also it's 1 only. And end behavior, what's happening? Left side it's going downwards, right side is upwards, over here it's the other way around. So this is just the comparison, basic comparison, that's it. So that's about it, and that is the end of the question 2. Just remember, mode 7 gives you the calculator graphing table. So please use the calculator easily, compare the options and easily eliminate the wrong options, and you can solve them up. The question number 3 is to find extrema of polynomial functions. Here we have been given the equations of the graph. We need to graph this equation, and then we need to find where the extrema maximum or minimum lies. Let's take our calculators and type mode and then option number 7 for table. Type this equation as it is. It's minus 2x cubed, and then we have plus 12x squared, and lastly minus 8x. Now what you need to do is press equal to. If you get another option, don't type anything, just press equal to. Most of you may not have the second option, you directly come over here. Where do you want to start? Say start at minus 3 or minus 5 and ending also at 3 or 4 or 5, anything. Step, let it be 1. And you can see here the values are given of the graph. Now this is how you can easily deduce the graph. If the options are 4 graphs, that's it. You can easily calculate it out. Now you can see here it starts with -3, which is 186, which is too huge. Now for -2, it is about 80. Okay, -1 is 22. Yes, that's approximately correct. 0 is 0, and 1 is 2. 2 is 16. 3 is 30. You can see as again it increases. But now if you go further, since it's a cubic, right, you should know there is a increase and decrease again. So whichever points matches one of the graph, you can eliminate the other options and select it. But now what about the maximum and minimum points? Here you can see where it dips down is the minimum point. The minimum is at 0.5, or over here it's written between 0 to 1. And where is the maximum? It's between 3 to 4. So that is how we can deduce it, where is the maximum and minimum. You can even check it out in your calculator. Now, if you just have, say, more values over here for the same function, let's take starting point as minus, say, 5 and ending at plus 10 or something, more value, more detailed. You can see it's increased too much and it reduces, and then it changes. It goes down over here. So you can tell this is the minimum point. From way to weight, 0 to 1 is more likely, not from -1 to 20, -1 to 0. Why? Because over here there is a huge dip, and then from here you can see it's recovering. So more likely 0 to 1, there is a minimum point. And where is again maximum? You can see here now. From about, say, 3 to 4, you can see that there might be a maximum, because then again it is reducing, see? So that's how we can easily deduce from the graph itself and predict the values. Look at the options and check the answers. If it's graphing, it's very easy. From this, you can easily graph it out, and then you can choose which is the maximum and minimum. So now, since there are 4 options, you can easily eliminate the wrong options and directly select the correct one. All these are the same thing. Graph them up. You can see the maximum is over here near to 0. It's at -0.3. It's very close to 0. And maximum is at -0.3. Minimum over here is at 1.6 over here. It's around 1.7, something like that. Same way you can graph any degree. Okay, in the mode 7 you can put any degree, doesn't matter, you will get the graph, and maximum and minimum. Over here there is only a minimum point at x is -1. Similarly, please solve the other questions as well. And over here we have a real world problem. A banker models the expected value V of a company in millions of dollars by using this formula here, where n is the number of years in business. Graph the function, describes key features over the relevant domain. Now here you just have to put this in the calculator, get the values, graph it out. Now here they want you to know which is the relevant domain. Now since it's n is the number of years of business, you can't have any negative values. It's only from, negative x-axis. It's only from years 0, 1, 2, 3. You can see starting years it was struggling, and then it started increasing its revenue, right? So from here, see, the domain must be greater than or equal to 0. Why? Because you cannot have negative years. It's from when the business started, number of years, right? Now, what about the range? Now, range is the lowest is -4. So it's all values greater than, because you can't consider the left side, right? Now, this is increasing indefinitely. It's just going up. So that means range is from this point, that is -4 and more. So that's the thing. You can see the end behavior over here as well if you want. Over here, end behavior is only as x tends to infinity, not the left side, only the right side. Even y is going to infinity, or f of x. And you can see the x-intercepts are at 2 points, 0, 0, and even over here, that is 1, 2, 3, 0. There is y-intercept at 0, 0 itself, and this is the graph details. Similarly, over here, there's equation, and you just have to graph it out. And over here, you can use graphing. We don't have graphing calculator generally, so it's fine. Your normal regular calculator is more than enough. It should be a scientific calculator though. And over here, they have given a lot of values. See, such problem may not come because you need a graphing calculator to directly get the equation. But even without that, you can. Now, what they have given is, they have given a lot of data. If you put in the calculator, it'll scatter plot it. So it'll give you the graph like this. And even you can extract the equation from directly from this graph. It gives you the equation. Now, what you can do is if you have four different equations, easily check which is the correct equation. Graph them, make the table mode 7 for all these equations and compare it with the given question. So it should match. It might be a graph, it should match. That's it. So easily you can deduce which is the wrong answers and the correct answer if the four options are there. And that's the end of the question 3. Focus on the graphing part using mode 7. And if it's a real world problem like business and everything, know the domain. It can only be positive real numbers. So this is the most important things to remember in the question number 3. The question 4 is on multiplying polynomials. Here it's very simple, just using distributive property you can multiply them. So what you have to do is multiply this 3p inside. If there is plus or minus, it must be distributed to both the terms. Now whenever there is plus or minus, now a plus b, a minus b, they are separate terms. Whereas ab, this is a single term, it's a monomial. Now it's binomial, binomial. So plus and minus is very important to remember. Here now when you multiply 3 multiplied with n, and what happens? There's already a p and a p, it'll be p to the power 2. Minus again 3, p and z. That's the answer. So that's it. You just multiply it inside and you get the answer. Now since it's MCQ, you can directly do it. Now, all these problems are simple. I can teach you a calculator method as well, which I'll teach in a while. But since this is such a simple topic, I would highly suggest you to just do this by direct multiplication. Even over here, if there are two numbers, multiply the numbers first. 4 times 2 is 8, x and x squared is x cubed. Plus, this is the sign, 4x and y. That is the answer. Isn't it very easy? So what is the calculator method now? It takes a long time than the simple method, but I'll show you the calculator method. You need to have your calculator for this, and you need to know all the 4 options. So let's look into the options. I'll do the last problem here. If you have many variable, it takes a longer time. Basically, what you're doing is you're assuming certain value. Now you can assume 1, 2, 3, but I always go with 1.5 and so on. Why? Because no matter what, you will have a unique answer. I'm not saying that you won't get a unique answer with taking x is equal to 2. You will definitely get it. But there are very, very rare cases where that may not work if you take x as 1. I cannot give you the cases right now in the top of my head, but I know when I've solved so many problems like this, I've tried, many different problems, and sometimes this may not work. Now what I do is I'll assume x to be 1.5. And here, the given question first, what I will do this entire question, I'll type it as it is, x squared multiplied with 2 times x plus 9. Now there is only one variable, so assume x to be 1.5. Calculate x at 1.5. What is the answer? It's 27. So I will write this is equal to 27. So now you will have 4 options, isn't it? You need to solve all those 4 options putting x as 1.5. Now if you put 1.5 cube, it takes time. So what you can do is just type it as x only, power 3, and then plus 9x squared. And what you do is calculate this at 1.5. What is the answer? 27. Only one answer will give you the same options, same value as the question. All the others will be different. Now, if you're thinking, what if you have 3 different variables, like the first question, there are 3 different ones, right? So what you do is you just assume values for each of them. So we will start with p as, say, 1.5, n as 2.5, and z as 3.5. You can take 2, 3 as well, but I just go with 0.5 because you're not calculating this. The calculator does it for you, right? Now, in this case, there is no way you can put 3 variables. So what you need to do is substitute the values directly. 3 times, what is p? It's 1.5. Close the bracket. Again, open the bracket. Multiplied with, what is n? 2.5 times p is again 1.5, and then minus z is 3.5. Now close the bracket. The answer is 9 by 8. Just write the answer. It's very important to remember it. Now, it's also useful to use the decimal, 1.125. Generally, it's fine, but it's better to use decimal because sometimes your final answer might be in decimal only. It won't be in fraction. Now, the final answer, all the four options needs to be done like this. What is n? 2.5 multiplied by p is 1.5 squared minus 3 times p is again 1.5 times 3.5. And the answer will and should match the question, 9 by 8. See, now you might see, okay, this is so easy, but in the exam you will have four separate options. You have to keep on doing this, right? So multiplying this is so very easy, isn't it? So it's up to you to choose the method. Even over here you can go with any of the method. Now this is the identity a power 2. Wait, I'll just write the identity. A minus b the whole square is a squared minus 2 times ab plus b squared. This is the identity. And you don't need to memorize any identity. You can do whichever method you want. You can do the FOIL method, distributive method, or calculator method. You will get the correct answers itself. All these problems just like that. Please do solve them by yourselves. The answer is over here. You can try calculator method. But see over here, if you're doing calculator method, you need to assume for a, b, x, and y 4 different values. So you can assume say 1.52, 2.53 or something like that. It's fine, and you'll get the answers. Even over here, and same thing over here. Now this one is not that difficult. It's only one variable x. So just multiply. You can see here the highest degree was 5 and we have degree of 1 multiplied to it. So highest degree must be power 6. So what you can do is you can just start multiplying one by one. 3 times 4 is 12 x power 6. Then 3 times, plus 3x to the power 4. Sorry, 3x to the power 4 minus 7. Now what happens is this is no matter what, you will have only a unique solution, because no matter, even if you multiply this, you will not get x to the power 6. So this must be in the solution. So this is how you can easily eliminate other options. So there might be only two options with 12x power 6. So this is how you can eliminate some options and then narrow it down, and then you can use the calculator method if you want, or you can do it directly like this. A real world problem here, construction. A rectangular deck is built around a square pool. The pool has a side length S. Okay, so now there is a pool over here and there is a deck which is built around it. The side length of the deck is 5 units longer than the twice of the side length of the pool. The width of the deck is 3 units longer. See, now let's write this in expressions. The length of the deck is 5 units longer than twice. You can actually, this is written, this whatever is added 5 units longer will be at the right. Since it's longer than, it's plus 2 times the side length S. And the width is 3 units longer than the side length S. You can even write 5 plus 2S, it's the same answer. And these are the length and width dimensions of the deck. And the pool is inside. So what we need to do is find the area of the deck in terms of S. So we know that's length, width. We will find the total area and then subtract this out, because the side length of the pool is what? S, given over here, right? Already it's built around square pool. Square pool is square, so one side length will be the same thing. Now we will find the total length. Just by multiplying length into width, you get the area. So that is 2s plus 5, and over here you will have s plus 3. Multiply this, it will be 2s power 2 plus 6s plus 5s plus 15, and solve it up, it will be 2s power 2 plus 11s plus 15. This is the answer of the total area, but you just want the area of the deck in terms of s. So subtract whatever is there, that will be minus s squared. So it's s squared plus 11s squared plus 15. So that is the final answer. Let's just look at it. You can see it's s squared plus 11s squared, s only, sorry, I've written 2 times squared. It is 11s. plus 15. So that is how we solve this. Find the total area, the total outside area, then subtract the inner area, you get the actual area of the deck itself. A volume of a rectangular prism is given by the product of its length, width and height. A rectangular prism has a length of what? B square over here, width of A and a height of AB plus C. What is the volume of the rectangular prism? Express your answer in simplified form. Now it's just multiplying everything. You have to just multiply AB plus C multiplied with B squared multiplied with A. So this is just a monomial, these two terms. So it will be AB squared times AB plus C multiplied over here A squared B cubed plus AB squared C. So that is the simplified answer. Now you can also check this by your calculator. See, this is the answer. Just assume values for A, B and C. Put it in both the question and see this term, the area term, just multiplying and the answer you will get it. But honestly speaking, direct multiplication is just distributive property. It's not that difficult. Please remember this distributive property. It's important in the future grades as well. Don't go to do calculator method for such problems. This is a very important topic in anyways. So just learn to multiply thoroughly and then solve it up. So that is how we solve this problem. Here you can see the volume of the rectangular prism is A square B cube plus AB square C. Now C is missing, guys. This is the answer, right? So just write that accordingly because over here cubic they missed it, I guess. So that is the end of this question for another easy topic. There is calculator method, but please try to do the manual method. It is very important to learn multiplication of polynomials. The question 5 is to divide polynomials by synthetic division. Since it's in the MCQ part, it doesn't matter which type of division you're using as long as you divide it. Now, even over here, there are shortcut methods. I'm sure by now you know what synthetic division. You have to take in the coefficients, write them in order, make the method. See over here, this is the method. The 3 comes down, then you multiply 3 with 4, you write the term over here, that's 12, and add them up, 5, and then multiply it, and it goes on, and you get the remainder and everything. But now I will tell you the shortcut method in the calculator. Here you need to have all the 4 options. First thing, just like the last video how we did the multiplication shortcut, just like that, assume a value for v. There's only one variable over here and only one variable will be there. So what I'll do is I'll just consider this as division because it's to the power minus 1, it goes down, and v as 1.5. So over here I'll just write v as x because it's only a single variable, right? I can write it as x, it'll be much easier, minus 10 and divided by x minus 4. Now this power minus 1 means it's divided by. Now I will calculate x value at 1.5, and now whatever answer you get, write it out somewhere. It's 11 by 2 or 5.5. The same thing will be done over here. Write all the 4 options and check which will match with the question. That is over here, you have with the remainder, sorry, it's plus 5 plus the remainder 10, and it's again x minus 4. And over here, when I calculate it at 1.5 itself, it's the same answer. Whereas any other answer will not match with the given question, whatever the value you get over there. So this is how easily you can find it out. So when you divide this by this is the answer. So the values of both these terms, this answer and this given question, must be equal because they are equal itself, right? You have solved them. Same thing over here. You can do the same thing. No changes, just put in over here and consider a value. I generally consider 1.5. Consider them as x itself and then directly calculate at 1.5. You'll get some answer, and then look into the options and solve that as well. Over here is the quotient. All you need to do is put the same value, whichever you consider over here for t, that was 1.5. This value and over here will match. Please try all the other problems by yourselves. There's nothing much in this calculator method. If you're doing synthetic division, there's plenty of videos which I've already done on synthetic division. You can refer that. The method is pretty straightforward as well, as long as you know this particular thing. What happens is this comes down, goes up, right over here. I always remember that sign. So this, whatever you write over here goes down. Sorry, not goes down. Add them up, it goes down. This over here, same thing. Add them up, goes down, and it continues. So that is how we do synthetic division. Any problem can be done. If there is a coefficient more than 1 in the denominator, then you need to divide throughout by the same term and remove the coefficient. It can only be x. Then only you can use synthetic division. But this doesn't matter for the shortcut method. You're over here, if you're using the shortcut method, don't worry. Just put it as it is and then check for all the 4 options. Only one answer will give you the correct answer. So now these both are the same answers. In your options, you'll have 4 options. So there will be unique options. So no matter what, they won't match. If they match, that means it's the same answer, correct answer itself. So it will not match. So you can easily use the shortcut method and get the answer. The only problem is you have to try it for all the 4 options. If you get the answer before in the first or second option, well and good. Otherwise, you need to try all the options and check which matches the answers. All these are same. You can refer over here. And that's the end of question 5. If you can solve by synthetic division actual method, well and good. If you can't remember that, if you're getting confused, then please do think of the shortcut method. Please remember the steps in the shortcut method and then it is very easy to solve. Question 6 is solving polynomial equations by graphing. Since it's in the electronic part, you will have 4 options. You do not need to do graphing. You can do any method and solve it up. Now these are very easy questions which can be done directly in the calculator. So let me show you now. All you need to do is look into this, the degrees. It's a polynomial with the degree 3. So let's go to mode and it's an equation, that's option number 5. And where is degree 3 here? It's not option 3, it's option 4. You can see the last option, it's degree 3. So type in the coefficients as it is. It'll be 2 by thirds, 2 divided by 3. And then we have 1 that is before x squared minus 5. And remember the standard form is ax cubed plus bx squared plus cx plus d equals 0. So nothing must be at the right side. So what exactly it means is you must write everything to the one side itself. That'll be plus x squared minus 5x plus 9 equals 0. So this is what you need to put in the calculator. The right side must be equal to 0. So this 9 constant term moves to the other side. It becomes positive 9. And the answers are so and so. So you have 2 imaginary numbers. You can see this is imaginary. If you press next, see that whenever the numbers are like that, that's imaginary. And the only real answer is negative 4.11. So let's see the final answer. You can see it's approximated to negative 4.12. Now in the graphing calculator they have used over here to solve these problems, what happens is it will show you the graph and then you can see at negative 4.12 it's the only real solution. That means it touches the x-axis, whereas all the other points you can see will come close to the x-axis but never touch the axis. So therefore there are imaginary solutions because x cubed means there must be 3 solutions. Here we can see only one time it crosses the x-axis. Other 2 solutions are imaginary as you can see over here. So that is how we solve it. Now we are just approximated. Look at the options, you can easily figure it out. And what about these? It's just the same thing, but you need to rearrange it and write it in the standard form. If you go to mode 5, the last option, you can see that is the standard form. X cubed plus x squared plus x plus d equals 0. So all you do is, sorry, mode 5, now 4. Now type in the coefficients, 1, minus 9, whatever is before x squared, x cubed, x, everything. Those are the coefficients. This last term must be brought to the other side. So from 20 it becomes minus 20 equals 0, right? So this over here 20 goes to the other side, it becomes minus 20 and right side will be 0. So you'll have 27x and all these terms. So what you need to type over here is not positive 20, it's minus 20. If you put positive 20, it's the wrong answer. The answers are, again, you have 2 imaginary solutions, but one answer is 1.08. You can see here, approximated to 1.09. So the answer is, that's it.
Similarly, please do try these problems by yourselves. You can do it in the calculator. You will get the answers easily. Now, in this case, you're getting all three answers. So I'll do this quickly. Yeah. The coefficient is 1. Then take this to the other side. It becomes minus 4. And then we have 0 for x is not there. And lastly, 1. Now, the answers are positive 3.94 when you approximate it, 0.54, and lastly negative 0.47. So these are the answers. Now we have reached this problem where we cannot directly solve it in the calculator because we have x power 6. The maximum in this type of calculator is x power 3, and there are some higher models where you can do x power 4. Only in graphing calculator these are possible. So what will you do over here? You may not get these type of problems in exam, but if you get, write it in the standard form. Let's write everything together. X power 6. This becomes minus x power 4 because I moved this to the other side. Next one will be plus x squared, and then minus 15 is equal to 0. Now you can see there's a pattern. 2, 4, 6. And I need to make this power 3 maximum or power 2, but it doesn't make sense to make power 2 because there are 1, 2, 3 terms already and there's a constant term. The best and the easier way is I can see x power 2 here, it's all even. If I assume u to be x power 2, what will be x power 4 then? It will be u squared. Just square both of them. It will be like that. Or take power 3 on both the sides. This will be u power 3. X power squared, the whole power 3 is 2 3s are 6. You can see now I can rearrange these coefficients and write it as u power 3 minus 5 u power 2 plus u minus 15 equals 0. Now if you're getting confused with this, don't worry, bear with me for some time. I'll do this method and then I'll show you another method. So now if you get this in terms of cubic, I can solve this in the calculator by mod 5 and 4. Now I'll type the coefficients 1, minus 5, 1 and minus 15. Now what are the answers? I'll write the answers one by one. So I got u to be 5.3389. And what are the other answers? There are two more. Look, they are imaginary numbers. When I look at them, I understand because this plus, it's imaginary. Imaginary are conjugate. They come in two pairs, you know. So that's also imaginary. So only one answer is there. But you must remember this is not u. This is not x. This is u. What was u considered to be? X squared. So x squared is 5.3389. Now, in order to remove this, you just take the square root on both the sides. You can make it as a quadratic, you know, mod 5, 3. But that's too much. Just take square root on both the sides. X is equal to plus or minus what? Just put the square root over here. Square root 5.3389. The answer will be, see, whenever you take the square root, there are two answers. It's either plus 2.3106, it's let it be 2.31, or it's minus. So those are the answers. You can see the final answers. Say it's plus or minus 2.31. That's how we do this. Now, if you do this method, it's very easy. Easily you get in the calculator itself. I told you there's one more method, right? So what you basically do is the same thing. Let me write the equation here. X power 6 minus 5x power 4 plus x squared, and I'll write the constant, all the variables at one side and the constant to the other side, okay? This is taken to the other side. Now this is basically a trial and error method. Now we need your calculator, and also you need the four options here. So let's look into the options. I know the answers are minus 2.31 and 2.31. So what I do is I type this equation at the left side only. Variables x power 6 minus 5 x power 4, and lastly we have plus x squared x power 2. Now calculate this at what? 2.31. What is the answer? So the problem is we have not taken all the value. It was basically 2.3106 or something. If I calculated 2.3106, You can see it's getting very, very close to 15. Now, in your exam, you won't have 2.3106. Doesn't matter. Whenever you type one of the answers, 2.3, I'll take negative 2.31 now. This will be very, very close to the right hand side value. It is very close to 15, isn't it? 14.9 is very close to 15. So these are the correct answer. So it must match out. You must try all the different answers. I'm sure the other answers will be different. Now there might be 5.33. Now when I type 5.33, what's the answer? It's way off, because there's power 6 and power 4. Anything that will come close to 4.8, 14.8 or 14.9, you must assume it to be 15. See, these are way off. Whereas only one answer, correct answer, will come very close. That is over here. Either it's 2.31 or negative 2.31. These are the answers. I hope this is clear. Now, these all problems can be done the same way. You need to just rearrange with all the variables at one side, and then let's check. Over here, there is only one answer. So I will write this equation. It is half 1 by 2 x power 5. And then we have minus, because this goes to the other side, 1 divided by 5 x power square. Now that must be equal to negative 2, because I took this to the other side, okay? All the variables at one side, constants at the other side. Now let me calculate this at negative 1.27. What is the answer? It is very, very close to negative 2, and this is the answer. Any other options over there given in the question, the options, right? 4 options. Try all of them. You will have wrong answers. So imagine I had 1.27, positive 1.27. You see the answer is different. It's positive 1.32. No, this is not the answer. You might have 0.99. So calculate at negative, say, negative 1, let's say. It's different answer. So only one correct answer comes very close to this answer. So that must be selected as the correct answer. So this is how you do it, but it's just that you have to try all the 4 options. You will have 4 different options. Try it like this and check whether it matches. So that's why it's time consuming. Whereas if it's cubic and all those questions, directly use mode 5.4 or mode 5.3 and solve it up. Even over here, we can do the same thing. Type in the equation x power 8, and this goes to the other side, will be plus x power 7. That is equal to what? Sorry, you don't write that you need to just find the answer. You need to look into the options. So the answers are over here. There are 2 answers. Let me calculate it. Let me calculate at some wrong answer, negative 1. What is the answer? 0. So it doesn't make sense. I should get 3. Let me calculate at minus 1.36. Yes, it's very close to 3, 3.0. And what about the other one? Calculated at 1.06. Absolutely, again, it's the same answer. But all the other answers will be way beyond the answer 3. Over here, if you're thinking why we are not getting accurate, because we are not taking up many decimal points. And one more thing is power 8. So even a simple wrong answer, like there might be one more, say 1.25. Calculated 1.25, which is very close, right? But see, the answer is entirely different. It changes by a lot. Why? Because 8, power 8 means it changes a lot, Only the accurately correct answer is correct. So that's how we solve it. Over here, we have a real world problem. A shipping company will ship a package for $7.5 when the volume is no more than 15,000 cubic centimeters. Grace needs to ship a package of, that is, 3x minus 5 centimeters long, 2x centimeters wide, and x plus 20 centimeters tall. Let us solve it by parts. The first one, write the polynomial equation to represent the situation. So what we need to do is we need to find the volume, right? No more than this. So first let's write the dimensions. It's 3x minus 5, 2x, and x plus 20. This should not be more than 50,000. Maximum it can be equal is 15,000. So this is what represents this particular situation. So that's the thing. And now next one is solving. Okay, if you want to solve it, just multiply it inside. Now I'll tell you ways to avoid this as well. You just want to find x value. That's it. Okay. Now this is not a written part. But if you multiply each thing by polynomial multiplication, you get this answer. This is the thing, the volume of the package. Solve the system of equation. Basically, you have to take, mode phi 3 and mode phi 4 and solve it up. Over here, they have done graphing calculator to find the x value. X is 10. Now, in your exam, you will be given this, right? So how would you do it? I'll show you now. So you won't have the solved equation. You will just have the answer. It's 10 centimeter. Let's keep that in mind. Now, this is the equation which we got, right? So all you need to do is left side, type it out in the calculator. It is 3x minus 5. Close the brackets. Open and close the brackets properly. And over here we have 2x and close the bracket. Again, we have x plus 20, close the bracket. Now here calculate x at what? X value, the final answer, the option was 10, right? So type over here, the answer is 15. Anything else, literally anything else, say I'll take 12, it's wrong. So only one answer gives me the correct answer, so therefore I can easily tell, okay, the dimension is 10. You do not need any graphing calculator or anything, or even if you want, you can use mode 5 and 4 to solve it up. Now, what is the dimension of the package to have maximum volume? So now we know the dimension is 10, right? Substitute 10 over here for each of this. 3x minus 5, substitute 10. What is the answer? Length is 25 centimeters. Width is 20 and height is 30. Now think you are just given these answers. Okay, these were the answers. Even then you can directly find in the calculator. I'll show you how. So just multiply the given answers. All the four options, you need to multiply them. 25 by 20 and 30. What will be this answer? It should be 15,000. Only one answer will match. So this is 15,000. Yes, this is the correct answer. If it doesn't match, that's the wrong answer. Go to the next option. So that's how easily you can solve that. Here also it's similar. A rectangular garden 12 feet across and 12 feet long. Across and long. It's given over here in the figures. It is surrounded by a border of mulch that is of uniform width x. The maximum area of the garden plus border is 285 feet square. Now everything is given. You need to just write polynomial equation just like the previous one. The area is what? Length into width. But the problem is, look, this garden is 12 over here. Plus there is another x and x. So plus 2x, 12 plus 2x and 16 plus 2x. That's it. These are the dimensions. Why do we add those 2x? Because the garden over here is only this dimension, 16 by 12. But they have told with the mulch, we have to find the area for the total one. That means you need to add x on both the sides. This is also x and x over here. So that's why we add this 2x and then we solve it up. Now if they just give the x value, you just put it over here in these two equations and make it equal to 285. See, if you put over here x as 1.5, 1.5, it should be equal to 285. Others are wrong answers. And then we saw the dimensions, multiply these both, you must get 285. Otherwise, it's wrong. So this is how easily you can solve these problems. This problem is also very similar to the previous one, but I'll just solve this one because some formulas are required. A juice manufacturer is creating new cylindrical packaging. The height of the cylinder is to be 3 inches longer than the radius. Now, do you know what is the volume of a cylinder? It's pi r square h. Circle, cylinder is like this, right? So what is the cross-sectional area of the circle? Pi r square. And the height you multiply, you get the volume. So that's how we get it. It's a very simple formula to remember. Circle area multiplied by the height. Now then, they have told the height is 3 centimeters longer than the radius. So V is equal to pi, r square is radius, but what is h? H is equal to r plus 3, that's it. R plus 3. Now the cylinder is to have a volume of 628 cubic inches. That's it. And pi value to be taken is 3.14. R square, r plus 3 is equal to 628. You have to find the value of r. Instead of multiplying and everything, you will have 4 options, right? Choose the correct answer. Substitute over here, you must get 628, just like what we did a while ago. Or you can multiply this and solve it up. It will be 3.14 r to the power 3 plus 3.14 times 3, it will be just 3 times 3.14 into r squared is equal to 628. And you can solve it up by the polynomial equation. But the easier method is look into the options and just plug in the values and check which gives you 628. And then you will find the exact value of r. Now once you find the value of r, you can easily find value of h. Just add 3 to whatever r value is there. So with this, let's do it in calculator as well. Let's look into the answer. See, this is just the polynomial equation just by multiplying. Over here, the r value. See, they have taken radius as x. That's fine. Don't worry. We have just taken as r because r is radius, easy to remember. R is 5. Now let's do it in the calculator. Type the given equation which we found out. Not given, we have to just use by the formula. That is pi is 3.14 multiplied by r square. I'll take it as x square multiplied with x plus 3. Close the brackets. Now try out all the x values, calculate. Now say if it's 10, no, this is not 628. Let's calculate it at 5. Yes, this is 628. So this is the correct answer. All the others are wrong. So let's try even minus 5. It might be minus 5. No, it's wrong. That might be the option, but you will only get one correct answer. Now, what are the dimensions? What is the radius? Radius is 5 square over here. Radius, can you see over here, 5 inches, and the height is 8 inches. So what you do is pi r square, 5 square into height is 8. It is 628. So this is the correct dimensions. Whereas all the other dimensions, right, won't give you 628, so they are wrong. So this is how we solve it up. And now we are again back to the old type of problems over here. Just look into the answer. What is the x value? Substitute the x value on both the sides and it must be equal to 7, and that's how we get the answer. Please go back in the video. We have done such problems. Only when you put negative 2.47 or 1.29, the right side will be equal to 7. So type this x power 4 plus 2x cube in the calculator. Calculate these two values and check the answer. It will be close or equal to 7. Same way over here, do the shortcut method, easily you'll get it. But there are many answers. Don't worry, just type in all the answers one by one and it should be very, very close to negative 24. Now here, instead of doing the trial and error method, it's easy to solve it directly in calculator. Let me show you. We have done this a plenty of times now. It's mod 5 and 4, and now type in the coefficients. It's 1 minus 6. It's plus 4, and the constant moves to the other side will be plus 6 as well, and the answer is 4.94. Now let us look into the final answer. It should have been, oh sorry, I missed the answer, but the answer would be whatever you get in the calculator. That would be 4.94, 1.74 and negative 0.69. Similarly, please do solve the other problems. And over here there is no solution. You can try this. Okay, we will try this one. So we will have all the coefficients at one side, sorry, the variables at one side, that is x power 4 minus 15x squared plus x. Then the right side will be minus 65. So what happens is take any x value. So x is this. You will never be able to get this answer. So you will have only limited options, 4 options. So try all the 4 options. It might be 5. So this is the answer. It might be 10, say 3 and 10. Now, no matter what, you can't reach negative 65. So that time, just select the no solution option, because as long as you have typed this all properly and you're trying to get the negative 65 and it's not possible with all the options, that means it's no solution. So that's how we can solve these. And over here, again, similar to what we have done a while ago. See, polynomial equation over here, they have told height is, 2 yards and everything is given, standard forms. So let's look into this. Trevor is standing 9 yards from the base of a hill that has a slope of 3/4. It throws a water balloon from a height of 2 yards. Its path is modeled by over here this equation, where h is the height of the balloon in yards and x is the distance of the balloon in yards. Now what you need to do is write the polynomial equation. Now here, remember, why is this minus 9? See, if this is the base, Trevor is 9 yards away. So if you recall linear functions, whenever you have positive 9, x plus 9, you write it as negative 9. So now if you're plotting this, x minus 9 means x is equal to 9, right to the right. So here x was 9, you take it inside, it becomes minus 9. What is the slope? Slope is 3/4 mx, right? Slope multiplied by this distance is standing. So the equation is already given, the height, that is equal to 3/4 x minus 9. Then you can simplify that, and when you simplify it over here using calculator, you get this. Or you can do trial and error, just substitute it out and solve it up. That's also fine. And that's the end of this question. It's a very lengthy one. Try to analyze the problems. You might get a simple one, where you can use a calculator directly because you're not using graphing calculator. But even if a graphing calculator problem comes, there are trial and error methods. So please go through those calculator methods thoroughly, and then you can solve all these problems easily. The question 7 is to solve polynomial equations by writing them in quadratic form and then factoring it out. Here you can see there are equations, generally always more than power 3. There might be power 3 as well, but generally more than that. What you need to do is write them in quadratic form. What is the quadratic form? It's ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, right? How can you write it? This is power 4, power 2. But you can see if you divide this by 2, divide this by 2, yes you can. But we just can't divide the powers. But we will assume u to be x power squared, it's power 2. So what then happens? U squared will be x power 4, isn't it? So let's rearrange this and write. I'll clear this off. Now over here, u is x power 2, u squared will be x power 4. So it's minus 15 x power 4 becomes u power 2. Okay, and then plus 18u minus 4. This is the first step. And now what is this u value? So let the square be. Now this is in quadratics. All I will do is instead of u, I will substitute x squared, then power 2. Plus over here 18, what is u? X squared minus 4. This is the quadratic form. Now obviously I can tell you write it in terms of x squared 1, this the power outside, but students get confused over here when you directly write this step. So if you write this step and then this step, you're more likely to get it as correct as possible. So that's why even over here, what I would generally prefer is u squared plus 12u minus 8, and now I will write x squared the whole square. I'll put whatever is in u as brackets, and then 12, whatever is u is in brackets, minus 8 is equal to 0. So this is now in quadratic form. You can see that's the quadratic answer, and even over here, this is the quadratic answer. I hope this is clear. Now, they have just asked to write in quadratics. Okay, there are a few rules to remember as well. Now, this also can be written as quadratic. Only thing is u should be x cube. But look at this one. Can you write this in quadratic? U to be x squared. But there is a rule which you must follow. These must be multiplied by 2. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6. 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. This is not 4. You cannot write this in quadratic at all. It's not possible. But this is possible. I will write u power 2 plus 6 u, not x, u plus 7. Now u is considered to be x to the power 3. So I'll write it as x power 3 whole square plus 6 into x power 3 plus 7. Now here, let me write it out. That's the answer. Okay, now what they have done is, don't worry, this is also correct answer only, but they have taken another 2 also common, because you can write 2 cube over here instead of u. Okay, but trust me, this is enough. But now since it's an MCQ, what if this option is not there? So this is the correct answer. That's fine. I will tell you how we can realize. Look at this 2. 2 can be written as 2 into 2 squared. That 8 can be written as, this is 8. How? 8 is basically 4 into 2, and you can write 2 squared into 2. So you can take this inside. Even over here, you can write 6 as what? 4. Sorry, you can write it as just 2 into 3. Okay. Now this 2 can be taken inside. And what you're writing is 2 over here. 2 square outside, but it's 4 over here. So this becomes just 2 and 3. Now, if you're getting confused, don't worry. This is the correct answer. I'll tell you another shortcut for that. Now, if such problem, you wrote the quadratic form, but your answer is not there. Just take out your calculators. Write this equation. 8x power 6. This is the trial and error method which we used in the last problem. Over here, same thing. Power 3 plus 7. Calculated at some value. I'll take 1.5. The answer is over here 118.375. Now all the options, whichever matches with this question is the correct one. Try it for all the options now. I will write 2 into 2x cubed, then close the bracket and square it up, plus 3 into 2x cubed, close the bracket, and lastly we are plus 7. Now, sorry, calculated at 1.5, the answer is the same thing. So this is the correct answer. This is the trial and error method which you can use for these problems as well. Over here, it is not at all possible because I told you it's not multiple of 2. 2 2s are 4. Over here, if it was 4, you can write in quadratic, otherwise no. Otherwise, this should have been 3. 3 times 2 is 6. So similarly, you can solve these up, writing in standard forms. Now here it gets a bit complicated, not complicated as such. You can see 4 times 2 is 8. So how I would write is just write 9. I'm not gonna, constants, I'll leave it as it is, just this variable. So I'll write it as x power 4 the whole power 2, 21 x power 4 plus 12. This is correct. It's in quadratic, so it's absolutely fine. You can solve it and you will get the same answer as the above. Even over here, it'll be in terms of phi and phi. But still, I would prefer writing this as u and then writing it out, because sometimes students mess up with this. They write it as x squared the whole power phi or something like this. And that wouldn't mean the correct answer. But since it's in MCQs, please look into the option and do the trial error methods also if you're getting confused. Now we have to solve these equations. Solving equations we have already done a while ago, but this time there are imaginary numbers. So imaginary numbers are a little bit hard. Why? Because you can't put them in the calculator. There is no way you will get the answers. So what happens is, in such cases, you have to do the quadratic form. That is, u is equal to x squared. Now write this in quadratics. That will be u squared plus 6u plus phi is equal to 0. Now solve this up. Mod phi and 3 in the calculator. Mod phi and 3. And now type the coefficients. It's 1, 6, and lastly we have phi. That x is minus 1 and minus phi. So it's not x, sorry. U is minus 1, u is minus phi. So what is u exactly? U is x squared. And over here, what do we have? X squared is equal to minus phi. Can we have x squared as minus phi? It is not possible to take the square root of negative numbers, right? So this means it's imaginary. Over here, I can tell x is equal to square root minus 1. Outside will be plus or minus, right? So what is square root negative 1? It's I, plus or minus I. And what about this? X will be square root negative phi, outside is plus or minus. So x will be, when you solve this, it will be phi I, plus or minus phi I, because there is root phi and root minus 1, which is I. So these are the answers. So this is how we can solve it. Or you can write this in quadratic form and solve in calculator as well. But it's too much work. It becomes plus 1 is equal to 0. X squared plus phi is equal to 0. You'll get these answers now. Again, you need to go to mod phi and 3. Solve it up. 1. There is no x term, 0, and then it's 1. So answer is I and minus I. And what about the other thing? It is 1, 0, and positive phi. Here you will have answer square root. Okay, I just forgot to write the square root here. Guys, don't forget that. Because square root of phi is a small number, we just write it as square root phi itself, square root phi I and minus phi I. So these are the correct answers. So that's how we can solve them up, plus or minus I root phi and plus or minus I. Similarly, you can solve these by yourselves. Over here, you might get imaginary, you may not get imaginary. you can solve it. If all answers are not at all imaginary, then you can do the trial error method. But otherwise, here you need to solve it. You need to take you need to solve it up, and then only you will get the correct answer. Now, even over here, it's the same thing. But see, here there is no imaginary number. So you can try the trial error method, but how will you know in the exam which is the correct answer? There are four options. You can try all the four options. If you get the correct answer, go with it. Otherwise, you need to do this quadratic form, solve it in the calculator, and then get the answer. So same thing over here, and lastly over here. So over here, see, you can see imaginary. Imaginary will be always conjugate. It will be plus or minus. And last problem, same thing over here, there is imaginary. So if there is one imaginary, one real, it doesn't help. You have to write this in quadratic form. You don't need to write the simplified one. Directly you can write 24u squared plus 14u minus 3. U is equal to x squared. Now solve whatever is u, you'll get some answers, right? Then take them as x square and x square, and then you can solve it. You can make it again into a square quadratic form and solve it, or you can solve it directly in calculator. So that is the end of question 7. This is similar to the question 6, so make sure you study both of them together. Be thorough in the previous question, then this one will be much easier. Question 8 is to evaluate functions by using synthetic substitution. Here we have a question. There's a polynomial over here. It's cubic, power 3, degree, highest degree is power 3, and over here it's divided by this binomial. Now remember, when we do synthetic substitution, this must be degree 1, which you're dividing by the divisor, and the coefficient also must be 1, otherwise you cannot solve it. Now here, these are important, the coefficients, the sign is also important over here, and this is important. You need to understand what is the x value you're dividing with. X plus 3. What is the x value? Just equate this to 0. X becomes minus 3, right? So here this minus 3 is what we are writing out separately like this. And then you write these coefficients one by one. Now remember, sometimes the question over here will have f of x. Say f of minus 3. Then you have to take this minus 3 as it is. Why? Because this is f of x itself. Whereas over here, x value will be minus 3 when you take it to the other side, but this is already x value given to you. So that is the difference. Now what you do is, whatever is this value, right? You bring it down, write it. This is how it is. These are the coefficients. And now this is being multiplied. See, this number is being multiplied here, and you write it over here. Or you can write it like this. Otherwise, the arrows are put even like this. This multiplied here and written like this. That's also fine. Next one. This has been added. You write it down. And now this has been multiplied to this, and write it up over here in the next term. 3 times minus 3 was minus 9. Added up, minus 11. Minus 11 times minus 3 is positive 33. Add them up. It'll be negative 20. Negative 20 times 3 will be what? It'll be positive 60. Add them up, it's 0. So this is synthetic division. Very simple. Whenever the remainder is 0, that means this is a factor. Now, if there is some remainder value, then that value can be used differently. We will see in problems later on. But this is the main idea of synthetic division. Now, the answer over here will be reduced by 1 degree. See, now over here, if this was power 3, you can easily directly start with x power 2, x constant. This is remainder, something else, different. Leave that for now. Here, this is constant term, x squared. If there is one more, it will be x cubed, and so on. So you can see it's 3x squared minus 11x minus 20. That's the answer. Now let's look into other problems here. Jessica evaluates polynomial. This is given over here for factor using synthetic substitution. Some of their work is shown below over here. Find the values of a and b. Now the problem is you just can't solve it in calculator without knowing the method of synthetic substitution. There's no way you can do it. But now what do we need to find? A and b, right? This b can be found out easily, but you need to know this a value. How would you know it? We know this is the first value which goes down. This multiplies over here, and then it comes over here, right? So 1 multiplied by what will give you 11?
It's obviously 11, so this is 11. Let's check whether it works. Add them up, it'll be positive 6. 6 multiplied by 11 gives you 66. Yes. Write them up. And what is 11 times 69? 759. You can check it in the calculator. Now add them up and write over here. When you add it up, 764 is the answer. So A is 11, B is 764. Isn't that easy? So that's the answers. So if you know the method, very straightforward. Because over here 1 times 11, 1 times A must be 11, so that's how we find it. And 5 plus 759 must be B, that is 764. We have a real world problem. State your assumption. The revenue from streaming music services in the United States. The revenue from streaming music services in the United States from 2011 to 2016 can be modeled in this equation here. It's a long one, where X is the number of years since 2005 and Y is the revenue in millions for US dollars. Estimate the revenue for streaming music service in 2010 and what might be the revenue which will be streaming in 2020. What assumption did you make to make your prediction? So now we are using this equation over here and finding it for 2010 and 20, but this equation is only valid from 2005. So what is the years from 2005 to 2010? It is 5 years, right? So here the X value must be 5. Now you can go ahead and do the synthetic division with X of 5, say like this over here. See, you're writing 5 over here, writing all the coefficients and do it. But this is going to take forever, right? I'll tell you a shortcut. All you need is your calculator, but it takes time because you need to write this entire equation in the calculator. That is 0.26 x to the power 5. Write x value as it is using alpha and the closing bracket symbol, that gives you x, minus 7.48 x to the power 4. Then we have to write plus 79.2 x to the power 3. Then we have got minus 333.33 x to the power squared, it's 2, plus 481.68 x to the power, that's it, x, that's it, no power, plus 99.13. Huge equation, but now you see the answer is just by pressing calc. And how many years are we using for, are we solving for? 5 years, right? 5 years from 2005. So I'll type 5 equal to, the answer is 211.78. So about 211.78 in terms of what unit they have given, modeled in X number of years, and Y is millions. So it is 211.78 millions that have been generated in 2010. That's the answer. Now for the next one, what will it be in 2020? So all you need to do is change it to what year? 15. Why? Because from 2005 to 2020 it is 15. So same equation, don't change the equation, don't press on or AC, just press calc and change from 5 to 15. What is the answer? 18,387.58, but this is all millions, so 18,387 millions. So that is the answer. Now, what did we assume over here? This is important. The assumption is the model still represents it after 15 years. See, when you describe a model based on whatever data you have, it will be valid for 5-10 years max. You know, it may not be 100% same for 2020 as well. It changes. There are different variables every year added into picture. So at most in the present time for 1-2 years you can model with certain thing, but then this changes, you know. So you cannot rely on this answer. Another real world problem, the natural exponent of y is equal to e to the power x is a special function that is applied in many fields such as physics, biology and economics. It is not a polynomial function. However, for small values of x, the value of e to the power x is very closely approximated by the polynomial function over here. Okay, it's only for small values. This is the function of e to the power x. We need to use synthetic division to determine f of 0.1. But since it's again MCQ part, no need of doing synthetic division. Calculator method is more than enough. Just type it out. It's 1 divided by 6. And then we have x to the power 3 plus half, that is 0.5, or you can write 1 by 2, it's fine. X power 2 plus x plus 1. And the answer, now don't press equal to, this is not the answer. You need to calculate it at what? 0.1, and let's see, this is the answer. It's 1.0151. You can see over here 1631 divided by 600 is so much. How can I prove that? Here, this is in mixed fractions, right? Remember this value. To get mixed fraction, all you need to do is press shift and this fraction. Now write 631 divided by 6000 and press SD. See, that's the same answer. So you just have to check all the four options. That's the only thing you need to do. Okay. Over here now, you have to use synthetic division. There is no calculator method. Why? Because there is a constant value over here. So you can't have two unknown variables. In the last problem, we did a calculator method, but we cannot use that over here because we don't have all the x values, right? So here you must use synthetic division, and let's do it. I'll do the second one, okay? This one is pretty simple, I guess. I mean, both are same. So over here, what you do is write the coefficients. 1, over here it's k minus 17. What about this? X is equal to positive 2. So let's start dividing. This goes down. It will be how much? 1. 1 times 2 is 2. Add them up, it will be 2 plus k. Multiply it over here. Finally, we get the answer. 2 times it will be 4 plus 2k. Now, there is an important thing which I forgot to read the question. I'm also thinking how to solve it. The remainder is 3. See, remainder is 3. That means the last term over here is 3 no matter what. Now, can we solve it? Yes, absolutely. Why? Add them up. Over here, just add it up. And that must be equal to this. So, it's minus 17 plus 4 plus 2k will be equal to 3. You can put this in the calculator directly and solve. Here all you need to do is press negative 17 plus 4. It's plus 4 plus variable written as alpha x because we don't have k symbol as variable. 2x equals how much? It's 3. Shift and solve. Then press equal to. The answer is 8. So the final answer must be 8. You can see over here k value is 8. Now, there are tricks and all, like if you know 3, over here substitute 3, and there are certain things, but that's just complication. Okay, this was the other answer, so this is the answer 8. Okay, so please avoid them because you might get stuck. There might be some issue. So it's better to do the straightforward method with the method itself. You should know the synthetic division. And over here, right, just minus 17 plus so much is equal to 3. Put in the calculator, you get the answer. Same thing goes over here. You can see the worked out solutions. Not that difficult. Over here, you can just multiply it inside. Now, what happens in the left one over here, 50th problem? You get a quadratic. Why? Because you can see over here, k is multiplied. It will be minus 5k minus k squared. So all you need to do is 7 minus 5k plus k squared equals 3. Rearrange this and get it in terms of quadratic. K squared minus 5k. 3 inside will be 7 minus 3 is plus 4 is equal to 0. Is this okay? So now this one needs to be solved in calculator by mode 5-3, which I'll show you now. All you do is press mode 5 for equation and 3 for quadratics. The coefficient before x squared or over here k squared is 1, then minus 5, and lastly 4. And the answer is 4 and 1. So k value is 4 or 1. So both are the possible answers. Over here it was direct problem. Just solve for k, you get the answer. The next problem, here we have to find function of minus 8 equals 0. So this is given. And this is also given. Find all the zeros of f of x and use them to graph. Okay, so now basically you need to just solve them. There are plenty of ways. The easier way would be just solving this. I'll show you now. Solving by mode 5, and this is a cubic 4. Now they have told minus 8 is already a solution. Why they have told this is, if you're doing synthetic division, use minus 8 and solve it up. But if you're using this, just take the equation. Now it's 1. Over here, then it's minus 1, minus 58, and 112. Solve it. What is the answer? Yes, 1 is a solution. And what are the other solutions? 7 is a solution and 2 is a solution. Now you can graph it. See, this is the function graph. -8, 2, 7. Those were the answers. Now, if your graphs are given, then you can just make the table method and solve it. I'll show you that as well. If at all your exam was given such that your options are given such that you have 4 different graphs for this particular question, go to mode, 7 is for table, and type this equation. It is x cubed minus x squared, and then we have minus 58x plus 112, and just press equal to. This option may not come. If it comes also, just ignore it and press equal to. That's it. Now, where do you want to start? Look at your graphs and see the appropriate range. I'll start over here, say -8, and end at around 8 or 9. 8 only I'll end. And step let it be 1. I'll have all the values from 8, -7, -6, and so on. You can see at -8 it's 0. At -7, what is the answer? It's 126. Yes, it's approximately correct. At -6, it's 208. Yes, and so on. You can see. Just focus on one point. What I would do is I'll just go to 0 and see, okay, it's 112. At 0, it should be 112. Other graphs, maybe 2 graphs only will have 112. Other all graphs can be eliminated. So similarly, look at another point. I will look at, say, 2. Okay, 2 must be 0. Look at the other graph. Easily eliminate the other graphs and only 1 will be your answer. And over here now, you have again a similar problem. You can just put this in the graph. Over here, table mode 7 for graphing table. Otherwise, you can just go to mode 5 and 4 and solve it up and get the answer. But I just realized over here there is a k value. So now, if there is a k value, what you need to do is you have to solve it. You need to find at least what is the k value and then continue. So now they have told p of 1 is equal to 0. That means what? This is a factor. Factor in the sense the remainder is 0. Now imagine you're dividing 4 by 2. What's the answer? It's 2. Is there any remainder? No. But what if I do 4 by 3? It's 1 and 1/3 is the remainder, right? So that has been added. So here they're easily telling there is no remainder at all. It's a perfect number. It's a factor basically. So here what you can do is we have to do synthetic division itself. 10 k minus 16 3. Over here we have x value is 1. We will start. This goes down. It will be 10. 10 times 1 is again 10 over here. Over here add them up. It will be k plus 10. And again multiplied 1, it will be k plus 10 itself over here. Add minus 16, so it will be k minus 6 over here. And then what will happen? Multiply over here, you will get k minus 6. Add them up. What must be the answer? We know since 1 is a factor, no matter what the remainder, this one will be 0 because it's already mentioned here. So as long as I use 1 over here and 0 must be over here. That's the concept. If it was any other number, that number must be put. Imagine they gave, say, 5 over here, then put 5. Now we can easily solve k, isn't it? Because we know that if we add 3 and k minus 6, it must be equal to 0. So we add 3 plus k minus 6, that is equal to 0. Solve for k. K is equal to, this goes to the other side, it becomes plus 6 and this becomes minus 3. That is positive 3 is the answer. That is the value of k. This one. Now you can easily solve it in calculator. Over here, if you're thinking, okay, why don't I do this and this over here? Yes, let's try. Minus 16 plus k plus 10 must be equal to k minus 6. So now over here, what happens is, let's solve this up. What happens? K minus 6 is equal to k minus 6. This cancels. You're getting minus 6. If you cancel, 0 equals 0. You're getting an identity. So this is the issue. Even over here, you'll get an identity. Obviously, you're just adding and writing it over here, right? You're adding this and writing it, but it's in the variable form only. But over here, what happens is only one time variable, but you know this answer. So technically, you know what is it going to be equal to. Only this you can solve. So once you solve this, now I know this equation is 10x cubed plus, over here k value we found out to be 3x squared, and lastly negative 16x plus 3. Put this in the calculator, and if you want, you can graph it by mode 7 table, or you can solve for equations by mode 5 and 4. So that's how we solve this one. CK value is 3, and this is the equation. Now, about geometry, a volume of the box with a square base is V of x, that's given over here. The height of the box is also given. What are the measures of the side of the base in terms of x? Now, here the problem is we are dividing with a factor, coefficient of 2. This is not possible. So what you basically have to do is divide everything by 2. So this coefficient become from 2, it becomes 1. It'll be x cubed plus 7.5 x squared plus 18x, over here also there is, and 26 is 13.5 plus 13.5. And what about over here? X plus 3 by 2 is 1.5. So now I will do minus 1.5. Why? Because x plus 5 this is equal to 0, x is equal to negative 1.5. And then what do we write? 1, 7.5, 18, 13.5. Now let's bring it down over here. It becomes 1. Multiplied over here, it will be negative 1.5. Add them up, it will be positive 6. Multiply 6 times negative 1, it will be minus 9. Add them up, it will be again 9 positive. Multiply it will be negative 13.5. Yeah. And the answer is 0. So this is the factor. So it is 1 x squared plus 6x plus 9. Now you can factor it out by using mode 5 3, but I'll just do it over here. 3 and 3. 3 times 3 is 6, and sorry, 3 times 3 is 9 when you add it up at 6. So it's basically x plus 3, x plus 3, or it's x plus 3 the whole square. It's because it's square, right? Yeah, it's a square base. So the sides are x plus 3. Now how do you do this in the calculator? Just type in mode 5, that is for equation, and what is this? Option number 3 for quadratics, and just type in 1, 6 and 9. Now here you will just get one answer, see x, but there must be two answers, right? It's quadratic, but you are just getting x is equal to minus 3. Take it inside, it will be x plus 3. But what happens is, since you're just getting one answer, this is a repeated root. That means its magnitude will be power 2. There are two roots that's repeated. But if you find the factors, you'll understand it over here. So that's the answer. Now the side is x plus 3. That's the final answer. Over here you can see the base is x plus 3. I can see that they have not removed the factor. Really, you can do it, it's fine, but you will have extra 2. You know, 2 must be, you should reduce this factor, that's the thing. But it's better, it's a good habit just to divide by 2 throughout and write what was written over here. See, this is the actual exact way, and you get the correct answer itself. Now over here what happens is you might get confused. You need to remove factors, then you need to put in the calculator, and then you get the answer, finally x plus 3. So over here what they did is they just divided this by 2. So it became x plus 3 by 2, and x is how much? Minus 3 by 2. But over here they wrote the coefficients as it is. Actually you have to divide even over here. That's the rule. Now here then again, these are simple problems. Average value of this is the equation given, and you need to find, see, it's from 2000 to 2018. This is the equation, it can be modeled. And now what you're doing is finding it at these certain years, you need to find the estimated average franchise value. So let us use a calculator. I've just typed the given equation over here. It's negative 0.307 x to the power 5 plus 1.65 x to the power 4. Look over here, I missed it. It's x power 4. It's always better after you type something, double check it. 24, 8.04 x cubed, 145.1, 100 is just 1 I've written, x squared, minus 207.594x, and lastly 482.008. Now calculate. From 2000 this is to 2003, it's 3 years. What is the answer? It is 620.725 million. You can see over here the answers are there. This is the first answer for 3. Now you have to solve for others. What is the second one? And you can see this is the table. They have approximated to million. 621 calculated at 12. That means from 2000, isn't it, over here? You need to write 12. That's it. X is 12. It's 1197. Now calculate it at 21. Sorry, I've just removed it all. Oh my god. So I will just type it out. Okay, you get the gist of it. You have to just keep on changing the x values, and then what happens is you get these values. So that's it. Be careful in the exam. Don't press things like what I did. I just removed that equation altogether, and you have to retype the entire thing. So it takes a long time. And what you need to do over here is find for 2025 as well. But do you remember in the question, they are clearly told that equation is only for 2000 to 2008. So what assumptions did you make for this prediction? Do you think this assumption is valid? I don't think so it's valid because I'm starting to get negative numbers. And one more thing is the assumption was only till 2018. So it is beyond its time, and 25 years is very far. And the assumption does not seem to be valid because it's not going to fall so quickly. See, from 1,740 millions, once only negative 15, that doesn't make sense. So that's the answer over here. Now, such problems we have already done a while ago. You have to just use the remainder theorem. Now, in such cases, you have to find what is the remainder, right? Just put this in the equation calculator and put x as minus 5. I'll show this one. All you do is type this equation, 4x cubed minus 10x, and then we have plus 8 calculated at minus 5. The answer is negative 422. That's the answer. Similarly, you can do the other problem. Okay, this is a little bit different. The polynomial function p of x is symmetric in the y-axis and contains the point 2 comma minus 5. It's symmetrical along the y-axis. So let me just draw the point. It's much easier to analyze it. Now it's 2 and minus 5 somewhere over here. And it's symmetrical to y-axis. So it's symmetry. So it'll also be, if this is 2, it'll also go at minus 2. Symmetrical, like a mirror. This side. This is also the point. What is the remainder when p of x is divided by x plus 2? Explain your reasoning. So now what they're asking is, okay, we have used the remainder theorem, I believe. So yes, the remainder theorem is used. So I'll just explain what this means. So now to find the remainder, we have to use the remainder theorem. See, over here they have given x plus 2, right? But there is the remainder theorem. What does that say? When you're dividing, see now what is the remainder when p of x, see now p of x is symmetrical and they have given the points and all. This divided by x plus 2 is what you need to find, isn't it? But we don't exactly know what is this, but we need only the remainder. What is the remainder when it's divided? So the rule is if you want to find if you have a term x minus r, the remainder is basically p of r. Now here, what is the x value you get? X is equal to minus 2. So I'm not able to put this directly. So what we do is we will just see if we put p of minus 2, what will be the answer. Over here we don't have x of minus 2, so we can't tell it's minus 5. But they have told it's symmetrical, right? So the other point is basically what? Minus 2 comma minus 5. This was 2 comma 5. So here, if you put p of minus 2, it will be minus 5 as the answer. So the remainder is basically minus 5. So if at all you get such questions, what you can do is you can do it directly. Now look, what is the value here? It is 2, but x is equal to minus 2. So what is the coordinate? This is symmetrical along the y-axis. That means x value becomes plus and minus here, right? So what is this y value? That is the answer. This is the remainder. That's it. So remainder will become minus 5. The concept is simple, but even if you're getting confused, just remember, see what is the x values. Well, this is x, then what is the y value? That is the remainder. That's it. Same thing over here. No, over here it is simple. You can just do it directly. You just have to find the remainder, right? Put this in this equation. I've typed this given equation. All you need to do is calculate it at what? Square root 3. So what is the answer? 8 plus 3 root 3. So that is the remainder. Yes, you can see. They have written 8 later, but you can write anyhow. That's fine. So that will be the answer. That's the remainder. And that's the end of this question. It's a lengthy one. You need to know synthetic division. You need to know how to manipulate the remainder theorem, how to directly do it with the calculator. But at some times you have to use synthetic division and solve it when the constants are given, like the k values are given. Otherwise, you can easily use calculator and solve most of the problems.
Question 9 is to use the factor theorem to determine factors of polynomials. Here again, it's similar to the previous type of questions. We have to use synthetic division. And then what you need to do is split out the term. So now this given term must be divided by this one. They have already told it's factor. So the remainder will be 0 and you can split it out. Now I'll tell you some shortcut methods. Now the actual method is just like this and you will get the answer, right? So what you can do is directly from the final answer, you can check which is the correct answer. Let me show you. There are a couple of methods. Now the first method is mod phi and option number 4. This is a cubic equation. Before x cube is 1. But what is before x square? There's nothing. So it should be 0. And then x is minus 3. And lastly, we have the constant 2. So if you get the answer, you will get x is equal to 2. So let me write it out. X is equal to minus 2. Not positive 2, it's negative 2. And x is equal to 1. Let me write it out. X is equal to 1. And there must be one more answer, but you can see it's only 2 answers that are coming out. It's cubic, so there must be 3 solutions, right? So one factor is x plus 2. Another factor is x minus 1. So now here, they have told this is one factor already. Did they mention any power 2? No. So the other factor, whatever you get, right, is of multiplicity 2. That means this is repeated twice. The graph, right? It doesn't cut like this. Whereas at minus 1, right, over here, it touches, sorry, at x is equal to 1, it touches something like this and it goes and continues. So basically it has a multiplicity of 2. That's it. Now this is the final answer. Now other way to find this out is you will have 4 options, isn't it? In the 4 options, what you need to do is find the factors. Like you will have only this as the answer. So you will have about 4 answers like that, right? You need to assume a x value. First to the question. So let me type this question out. X power 3 minus 3x squared, that is alpha and this. Sorry, it's x only, plus 2. Assume a x value. I'll assume it to be 1.5. And what's the answer? It's 7 by 8 or 0.875. Now this one, all the 4 options needs to be put in the calculator. So I'll put this first one. Over here, it will be alpha x plus 2. Close the bracket. Open the bracket again. X minus 1. Close the bracket and square it up. Where do you want to calculate? At the same point. Is it same? Yes. So therefore we can tell this is the correct answer. All the other 4 options will not be the same. They'll be different. So that's why you can easily eliminate it. And also by using the equation, you can easily get these only factors to double check the answer. Same thing over here. Now in such cases, you don't have equation to solve. If you have the latest model, yes, you can do power 4 as well. But in this calculator, what you need to do is just check the answers particularly. In the sense, first write the equation x power 4 plus 2x cubed. Now I've written it up. See, don't do these mistakes in the exam. Press next and come down, and then you need to write it out. X power 3, and then over here it's minus 8x only and minus 16. And now calculate this at 1.5. The answer is negative 16.1875. Now same thing, you need to do it over here. But by the way, once you have done substituting, double check it in the exam, because if you get this wrong here, you have to do it again for all the options. You may not get the answer, or you might get wrong answer, you know. So that's the thing. Now let's look over here. It is x minus 2, close the bracket and then open the bracket again. It is x squared plus 2x plus 4, close the bracket, and calculate it at 1.5, and you can see the answer is not matching. Okay, the reason is that's not the final answer, guys. Okay, now I have to put one more
So this is much, and this is also the factor. See, this is the final answer. So that was silly of me. I was thinking, what's wrong? Okay. Now plus 2, and now calculate over here at 1.5. Okay, this was the correct answer, 16 minus 16.1875. So this is how we solve this. Trust me, the calculator method works all the time. And this is how easily you can solve for only electronic part, because you need to have all the four options. Please do the same thing every way. I have tried many of the problems, even other ones, and it all works. So here, even you can, this one, right? Just do mode equation and 4, and you will get all these 4 answers. But in your calculator, when you solve, you will get x is equal to minus 2, x is equal to minus 4, x is equal to plus 1. This is not how we write. We have to take this inside. It will be x plus 2, one factor, x plus 4, other factor, and x minus 1 as the other factor. That's how we get these. So in your calculator, you get equal to the opposite sign. So be careful with that. And similarly, over here, you can solve it up. And here, this is the answer. Now, in such problems, see over here, the factor is given. That will be power 1. The other one will have a multiplicity of 2 or degree of 2. Now you can even double check it with just substituting x value, assuming a x value of 1.5 or anything, and solving it up. Even over here, simple and straightforward problem. Over here. Now, this one, let me do it in calculator. Let me use the mode 5 and 4 option, and let me type the equation. It's 2, then we have 17, we have 23, and lastly negative 42. And now the answers are, okay, I definitely put something wrong. Let me double check it. 227 I have put at 17. I am becoming very clumsy. Maybe I'm just very tired. Sorry for that. It's 17, 23 minus 42. Now the x is 1. That means it's minus 1. Okay, you just take it to the other side. Now this one, I'll write it out. First one, x is equal to 1, x is equal to negative 7 by 2. Let me write the other one also. Lastly, it's minus 6. X is equal to minus 6. Now these are very simple. It will be x minus 1 as a factor, x plus 6 as one more factor. What about this? The factor can be written as x plus 7 by 2 or x plus 3.5, but the thing is that may not be there in the options. This is correct. If it's a writing exam, this would be correct, valid. But over here, in general, your factors will be written like this. So what do you do? So it's very simple. Since this is x value is what? Equal to negative 7 by 2, right? Multiply both the sides by 2. It's going to be 2x is equal to negative 7. Or take this 2 to the other side, whatever is divided. Or multiplying by 2, you get 2x equals minus 7. Now take the minus 7 to the other side. It will be 2x plus 7 is equal to 0. Or this is the factor, you can see. That's how we get this factor. So that's how we can do this problem. And similarly, you can do the others by yourselves. Over here again, equation works. Easily you can factor it out, calculator method. Now over here, what would have happened is, you would get the equation as x is equal to negative half. So take the 2 to the other side, it's going to be 2x is equal to negative half. 2x plus 1 would be the factor. So in your calculator, this is how we get, and over here. Or you can use assumption method. X is equal to 1.5 and you still get the answer. Even over here. Now here you have to do the assumption method itself. Looking at the final answer. Where is the final answer? This is the final answer, okay? Once you get, first take this in the calculator, put x as calculated at 1.5, write the answer down. Put this answer, all the 4 options, and whichever matches the question is your final answer. Even over here, it's again the same thing. And that's the end of this question. Very easy and straightforward question. Please do practice more problems. Try the calculator method by yourselves. Be thorough with it. And then the exam questions will be very easy. Question 10, as it looks like it's going to be long, we are to use fundamental theorem of algebra to determine number and types of roots of polynomial equation. There are 2 different types of problem in this. The first type of problems are the easy ones. Let's use our calculators directly to solve them. Now, since this is degree 1, you can manually do it, or you can type it in the calculator as it is. 5x plus 12 equals 0. You just have to press shift and solve. And this is the old saved answer. That's not the correct answer. Press equal to. This is the correct answer. You can see the answer is negative 2.4, but that may not be there in the option. So what you need to do is you need to solve this up. You can see negative 12 divided by 5 is negative 2.4 itself. So that's the correct answer. If it's quadratic, you just have to press mod 5, and this is 3, and type in the coefficients 1, minus 4, and 40. And here we go. The answers are over here. Did we type all the answers correctly? Yeah. Coefficients, yes, we have typed it correctly. It's 2 plus 6i, 2 minus 6i. They're conjugate always. So you can see 2 plus 6i and 2 minus 6i. This is similar to the question number 7. We have already done such problems. Even these were solved in the question number 7. Now we have x power 5 and 4x cube. Now you can't take u substitution because it's not a multiple. See, 3 multiplied by 2 must be 6. Here we have 5. So we have to find other means. The other means are removing common term, because there are only two terms. There is no third term and it's equated to 0, right? So you can do this, remove x power 3 common outside. What remains is x power 2 plus 4. That is equal to 0. So now you can equate this and this term to 0, right? So x cubed is equal to 0, or x squared plus 4 is equal to 0. Now we can solve each of them individually. So one answer obviously you will get degree 3, it's all 0 because x cube is 0. That means take cube root on both these sides, it will be 0. Another one, we can use calculator. Since over here it's square and there is positive, it goes to the other side, becomes negative. We'll have imaginary answers. Let's do it over here. Mod 5 and 3 for quadratic. The coefficient is 1. And then there is no x term, it's 0. And lastly we have 4. The answers are 2i minus 2i. So the answers over here is, say, 0. But the multiplicity is how much? Degree is 3, so it's multiplicity 3. And the other roots are 2i and minus 2i, you can see. Okay, they're asking you to write like this. It's very important to write like this then. You know the x cube is 0, right? What does this mean? X multiplied by x is all 0. So there are how many 0 roots? 1, 2, 3. So the solution will have x is equal to 0, x is equal to 0, x is equal to 0. And over here we got x is equal to plus or minus 2i, right? So we write all this 0, 0, 0, 2i. And they have also asked what type of roots. I forgot to tell this. Whenever there is I, it's called imaginary root. Otherwise, it's all real root. Number 0 is a real number. So it's 3 real roots and 2 imaginary roots. Now, degree 5, you have to justify 5 roots over here. Let's look at other problems. Here, different ways can be used to solve this problem. What I usually prefer is, instead of x power 4, I take it as u square. Like, assume u to be x to the power 2. So what is u square? X power 4. We have done this in the question number 7. So here this is u square minus 625 equals 0. Now we can use the calculator and solve this, right? It's a quadratic. Again, we just use mod 5 and 3. The coefficient of x squared is u squared is 1. There is no u term. And lastly, we have minus 625. So what are the answers? It is 25 and minus 25. So here u is equal to 25. U is equal to minus 25. So what is u basically? It's x squared is equal to 25. X squared is equal to minus 25. Now, I don't need to use the calculator. If you want, you can do it. Again, this to the other side and this to the other side, it becomes a quadratic, x squared minus 25 or x squared plus 25. Here, just take the square root on both the sides. What happens? X is plus or minus 5. Square root on both the sides, plus or minus 5. Here, it becomes plus or minus, since negative is there, 5 and I, imaginary number. So now, what are these solutions? There are 4 roots. 2 are real, 2 are imaginary. That is the answer. You can see here, that's the final answer. 5, you can write 5 plus or minus 5 first, and 5i minus 5i, 2 are real, 2 are imaginary. What about this problem? This is again direct. Do it in the calculator, mod 5, 3, and you get the answer. And at the end, you need to select this. What are the roots? It's only one root. This is like, sorry, not one, this is 2. One root is 1 plus root 2 by 2, and one more is 1 minus root 2 by 2. But these are all real numbers, so both are real roots over here. Again, we can do this. Okay, now this one is little different. Here you can see there is x, and there are only two terms. So take x outside, so you will remain with 1, x is gone, x power 4 minus 81 equals 0. Now you can equate this x is equal to 0, x power 4 minus 81 is equal to 0. Now how did we do x power 4 just a while ago? You assume u to be x squared, u squared is equal to x power 4. Only when it's possible when it's even numbers. Cube, it's a different method. Now here what you do is x power 4 becomes u squared, that is minus 81 is equal to 0. Now you can, instead of calculator, you can do it by yourself. U squared is equal to 81. Take the square root on both the sides, u becomes plus or minus 9. Now what is u? U is x squared. So x squared is equal to plus 9, x squared is equal to minus 9. Now again take the square root on both the sides. X becomes plus or minus 3, x becomes plus or minus 3i. Why is this I? Because it's negative over here. Now how many roots are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 total roots, all done. 2 are imaginary, 3 plus or minus 3i are imaginary. 1, 0 is one root, plus or minus 3 is other two roots, so 3 real roots. So this is the final answer. You can see here it is all are written in detail. 0 plus minus 3 plus minus 3i, so 3 real roots, 2 imaginary. This direct and calculator, you can do it by yourselves, very straightforward. This is it. Now here both are real roots, you get them in calculator directly. What about this over here? Again, it's the same thing. You do not need to use the formula or anything of quadratics. You can just basically use calculator, solve it up. So this is the answers. Now both are imaginary over here, 2 imaginary roots. Cube, again you can do it in calculator. Now here what happens is, if you put this in calculator, let me show it to you. It's by mod 5 and 4. The coefficient of x cube is 1, then there's 0, 0 and 1. Now what's the answers? Minus 1 is the first root. You can see half plus or minus root. This is the same thing. Over here they have written half separately, the by 2, or you can write it as a whole. And there are 2 imaginary, plus and minus. So 2 imaginary and 1 real. Here also you just calculate a mod 5 3, you get the answer. Both are imaginary. Again, straightforward problem. Please do them by yourselves. They're all similar, even over here, calculator. Now x power 4, I'm going to do this because it's power 4, right? Now assume u is equal to x squared, u squared will be x power 4. So I'm going to write 16 u squared minus 625 equals 0. And now let's use the calculator. Now it will be mod 5, and this is quadratic, so 3. Type in the coefficient of u squared is 16. There is no u, so it's 0, and lastly minus 625. So the answers are 25 by 4, or you can write 6.25 plus or minus. So you'll have only two answers. So u is equal to plus or minus 6.25. Now what happens? What is u? X squared basically is u. So x squared is 6.25, and x squared is also minus 6.25. Now you can either do it in this quadratic form itself. We just now put it. Now this will be 1, again 0, and this comes to the other side and becomes minus 6.25. The answer is 5 by 2 and negative 5 by 2. That's x is equal to plus or minus 2.5. And over here, what's going to happen? Because it's minus, it's going to be plus or minus 2.5 I imaginary. You can do it in the calculator as well. We'll just see. Same thing, 1, 0, and this will be positive 6.25. Yeah, this is the answer. Or you can also use the square root. Let's go to mode 1. Square root of 6.25. Here you can't put negative sign. If it's negative, just understand there is an imaginary I must be added. That's it. 5 by 2 is 2.5. So this is how we can solve it. There are 2 imaginary and 2 real roots. All are negative 5 by 2, positive 5 by 2, plus or minus 5 by 2i, 2 real, 2 imaginary. Again, similar, please do it by yourselves. And here are the answers. This one now, since there is x throughout, what I can do is I can remove the x common. See, x power 5 minus 8x cubed plus 16x is equal to 0, right? Take the x common out throughout. So what happens is x is gone. You will have x power 4 minus 8x squared plus 16 is equal to 0. Now this one has even powers. This can be written as quadratic. You can't directly solve it. You can't put this in calculator, or you can't just take again x squared because there's 16 here. So it can be equated as x is equal to 0, x power 4 minus 8x squared plus 16 is equal to 0. Assume x squared is equal to u. So it is u squared minus 8u plus 16 equals 0. Now we use the calculator and solve this quadratic. Mod 5 and 3. Over here it's 1 minus 8, 16. And what are the answers? It's 4. That's it. See, now over here you must be careful. What does this 4 mean? It's a repeated root. Let me just check the coefficients. Yes, 1, 8 minus 8, 16. That means it's like this. U is equal to 4, right? U minus 4 the whole square. It's a repeated root by twice. Okay, this is repeated twice, but no problem. What is u? X squared is equal to 4, right? So take the square root. So x will become plus or minus 2. That's it. But here you must understand there is a multiplicity of 2 for both of these. So there is plus 2 multiplicity 2, plus 2 plus 2. So x is plus or minus 2 means what? X is 2, x is minus 2. But we know over here this is having a multiplicity of 2. Instead of 2 roots, we only got 1. That means it's a repeated. U is equal to 2, u is equal, 4, and u is equal to 4. Okay, this is the situation. Now x squared, u squared means x squared is equal to 4. It's plus or minus 2. Basically, you're having plus 2, x is minus 2, minus 2. So that's it, minus 2, 2 times. Now you can see the final answer. All are real roots. 0, 2, 2, minus 2, minus 2. See here. Can you see that? It's just being repeated. Whatever you get, it's minus 2, minus 2, 0, 2, 2, 5 real roots. And this one over here, again, similar. What you need to do, you need to take the x term common out. We just now did it, right? The same concept, and you can get the answers over here. I'll just tell you how to simplify it. Take the x common out. You'll be remaining with x power 4 plus 2x squared plus 1 equals 0. Since over here it's not 0, it's 1. You can't directly solve it up. Left side is done. X is 0. But here you have to write it as u squared plus 2u plus 1 equals 0, and then simplify it out. So that's how we do this. And what about this over here? Direct calculator mod 4 will give you the answer. Oh, by the way, this is Descartes' rule. So now I will tell you how to do this Descartes' rule. Descartes was a, by his name you can tell is a French mathematician. All the weird, not weird names, like all these tough to pronounce names are generally French mathematicians. So what he found out is, just by the equation, just by little bit of rearranging the terms or looking at the signs, you can tell how many positive real or imaginary roots are possible, like estimate of it. You just need to count the sign changes. Let me write this. 3x cubed minus 4x squared minus 17x plus 6. This was plus. Now what is happening here? You can see it is plus, and to minus there is one sign change. I'll write 1. Okay, there is sign change. From minus to minus, no, there is no sign change. That's it. And again from minus to plus, second sign change, yes. You can write anything, yes, no. Say over here, yes and no is written. I just write tick and cross, it's fine. So 2 sign changes are there, right? That means, for this original equation, 2 sign changes means there can be a maximum of 2 positive real zeros, not imaginary, real zeros. This is the first case. Now for the same equation over here, instead of x, not for the cube, instead of x you should put minus. Okay, this becomes minus. And then you need to change. I'll rewrite that equation. It's going to be 3. If it's odd power, minus will remain. You can try that in calculator by putting minus 1 cube. What is the answer? It's minus 1. Whereas minus 1 squared, it will be positive 1. So any even number powers, right, will make the sign positive because it's inside the bracket. So this is going to be x cube, but the sign minus will remain, so it becomes minus. Now what about this? It's squared, so this minus sign dissolves. It will just be whatever was there, 4x squared. Now here minus sign is there over here. There's no power, so it will be multiplied with this minus and becomes plus 17x. And lastly, we have plus 6. Now let me check the sign changes over here. This is for negative, not positive. This is plus, right? Positive. Now we are doing for the negative real zeros. Here from minus to minus, no sign change. Plus, minus to plus, yes, there is one sign change. And plus to plus, no sign change. So over here we can tell there is only one negative real zero. It can't be more. So this is how we found out. And now we have to make a table. I'll just show you the table. See, we found out how much only. Wait a minute. Now here this is wrong. See, you just have one sign change. Okay, this is no, this is yes, this is no again. Okay, this is error. I apologize for that. See, you can see it's only one sign change. There's only one negative real zero. Now to find the imaginary zeros, you must write the positive real zero, negative real zero, and imaginary as a table. The total cannot exceed the maximum degree. What is the maximum degree? It's power 3, right? So the total, no matter what, must be 3. It can't be more than 3. Here, positive real 0 are 2. Why? Because we got it over there. Negative real 0 is 1. So if 2 and 1 over here, then it's 0. But this is maximum we are talking about. But imaginary numbers can be in pair of conjugates, right? It comes in pairs. That means 2 can be over here. Can you subtract over here 2? If it's odd number, you just leave. If it's less than 2, you just leave it as 1 only. This you deduct. Make it 0. Because you are putting imaginary 2, somewhere you must deduct 2. Only this is possible to deduct. And now again it's 3. So these might be the possibility. So there can be either 0 or 2 imaginary. There can be only one negative root and 2 or 0 positive root. That is the answer. So this is for... this is actually for the positive real zeros, 2 or 0. Negative is only 1. Imaginary is 2 or 0 again. Let's do this one as well. Let me do one more little bigger problem. Over here the worked out solution is there. Similar. Cube means 3. Just easy. Let us even, this is power 3. You can see same thing again. All the steps are worked out. Make sure you look at this. If there is any error, I'm seeing some error. There is sign change, yes. Yes, okay, yes, oh, it's correct. Okay, there is no. So yeah, this is correct. All the sign changes are correct. Again, it's cubed itself. So let me just solve this anyways. So first thing is just check at the sign change. It's plus, right? 1, 2, 3. All are there. Positive, negative, negative, positive, positive, negative. That's it. So 3 sign changes. So how many positive real roots can be there? 3 positive real roots. Now what next? Change them like this. Put minus x inside x. And over here minus, again minus x the whole square plus 4 times minus x minus 6. Now solve them up. If it's odd power, negative sign remains. If it's even power, it goes off. So it'll just be minus x squared minus 4x minus 6. And now what you do is count the sign changes. No, no, no. So 0 negative roots. So the table, I'll write over here positive, negative, and imaginary. And over here it's total, right? It can be 3, 0. This must be 0 because total must be 3. Now what happens is this is again 0. There can't be, you can't add them. This is the maximum number you find out over here. This is the negative real zeros, right? So over here it can be 1, over here 2, and over here 3 only, right? So the positive real zeros can be 3 comma 1, negative is only 0, and imaginary is 2 or 0. So that is the final answer. You can see here 3 or 1, yes, 0, 2 or 0 or 0 or 2. Generally, away the answers will be written as the higher number, the bigger number, and then the smaller number. So similarly, okay, now we got power 4, but it's just the same thing, guys. Over here, see the sign changes, no, no, no. Only one is yes. So there's one sign change. Over here, after changing the power, over here, if you put minus x to the power 4, it becomes positive only. This is power 2 itself, it'll be positive. This one changes sign. So no, no, this is yes. Can you see this is yes? And again, no, only one sign change. Then all are imaginary. So this is the table over here. Now over here, it is not, let me just check. Yes, absolutely, this is correct. Now, what is the problem here? Your maximum positive real zero is 1, negative real zero is 1, imaginary is 2. Can you make imaginary 0? No, these can't be reduced, right? You can't make it 0, it must be 4. So there is no way you can reduce it. If it is 1, 1, that's it. No other changes. So this is the only possibility. Only when there is more than 2 over here, you can reduce it by 2 and then balance it out with imaginary. Similarly, please go through all these problems. The worked out solutions are there. Look at all the answers for yourselves. Solve it by yourself and then check over here. Even over here, they're all solved out. This is also simple cubic. The same method, it's just repetitive. Just be careful over here. Again, another one. Power 5, but still the same method. No changes in this. Again, power 4 problems. Because they are simple, there's nothing much in this. Power 6 over here, but it doesn't matter how much is the degree, it depends on the terms. See, there are only 4 terms, so there is one sign change, no, no, 1, so there's 2 possible zeros over here. Yes, sign change, no, no, yes, again 2. So 2, 2, and since it's degree 6, there must be total 6, so remaining must be added by the imaginary. So there is 2 imaginary, 2 real, 2 negative, real and positive. Now what we need to do is we should reduce one of this. You can either reduce positive or negative one by one. So where negative is reduced, add to the imaginary part. Because we can't add over here. Positive and negative maximum is 2. This becomes 4. Now what you can do is you can change this positive to 0, right? So okay, negative will be 2 and this will be 4. Last possibility is both will be 0 and 0 and this is 6. That is also possible. So this is how we can get all these answers. That's the answer. Over here, again, similar problem. Please check it out by yourselves and then compare the answers. And that's the end of this topic. It was another lengthy one, but it's an easy one, I can say. Just a little bit of work. You can't directly jump to the answer in the last part. You have to do the sign change. You have to look at the table. Only then you can solve this. The question 11 is to determine number and the type of roots and also to find the solutions of the equation and graph it up. You can see our equation is given. Now since it's in the MCQ part, there are various ways to solve it. We don't need to do it as detailed as possible. Now to find what type of roots are there, we did it in the question number 10. The Descartes rule, what we see is we count the number of sign changes. What type of roots? So one sign change, and then there is again sign change and there is no sign change. So there are 2 sign changes. There can be 2 positive real zeros or solutions. Now we have to change this to negative x and we will get negative x cubed minus 5 times negative x the whole square plus 5 times negative x plus 3. And now when you solve it, it will be negative x cubed minus 5x squared minus 5x plus 3. Over here there is no, no and yes. Only one sign change. So there will be one negative real 0. So what is the maximum possibility? We had done a table. Maximum possibility is 3. So 2 is positive, negative is 1, imaginary is 0. But imaginary can be 2 and 1 can be negative, this can be 0. So these are all the possibilities. That is what we have done already in the previous question. So that can be done over here. See, that's what they have asked. But here, it's not just that, they're asking for the solutions as well. So since it's cubic, you can directly solve it. Just use your calculator. It's better we start clearing the calculator once. Shift 93 equal AC. It's cleared. Now we will do mode phi and option number 4 for cubic. Now what is the coefficients? It's 1 minus phi and 3. So the answers are negative 0.41, root 3 and 2.41. Now you may not get these as the solutions in the final exam. Your options will be different. It might be 1 root 2 or something like that. So what we do is let's look in the solutions. Okay, here they are doing a very long method. They are using this values and trying to find out synthetic division and finding the factor and then finding the answers. It's too long. This is very easy now. Calculator 1. Okay, these are the real zeros. There are 3 real zeros. What are the solutions? Over here, this is negative 0.414. I'll write it out over here. So minus 0.414. And then we had positive 3, that's over here already, and then we have 2.414. Now in your exam, if you get like this, don't worry, write them out and then check the answers in the options over here. 1 plus root 2 is equal to what? It's 2.414, and 1 minus root 2 is equal to the other answer, that is negative 0.414. That's how we do it. So now if you want to write these as factors, what you need to do is, you write it as, see, x is equal to 3, right? Factor will be x minus 3. This is a factor. But over here, you don't need to write factors. For graphing, you can directly graph. I'll tell you how. Mode 7 for table, type this graph. X cubed minus 5x squared. Then we have plus 5x. And lastly, we have plus 3. Now you need to, this is only one equation, just press equal to. Now you need to start the values. Where do you want to start? Generally, it's good to start with minus 3 or minus 5 and then end at 5 or, a little bit more. Step, let it be 1. Now you get the details of this graph. The table method gives you all the point of the graph. Here, generally, you will have 4 options for graphs, right? Look at the scale and choose the scale reasonably. So here you can see from minus 1 we need to see. So I will start from minus 1, it's minus 8. Yes, it goes down, it will be a minus 8. What about 0? At 0 it is 1, 2, 3. Yes, that's correct. What about 1? It's 4. Yes, that's also correct. 2 is 1. Yes, correct. 3 is 0. Over here you can see, and it was a 0 as well. And 4 is 7. It will go up and so on. You can easily match the graph. Only one graph will match at all the points. The others are wrong solutions. So that's it. You can discard them. So that's how we solve this graphing problem, and these are the solutions. If it is just root, just go to mode phi 3 and you can see this is the answers. Now since it's not writing part, not in the writing questions, you can easily use your calculator, mode phi 4, and solve it up. Here also the same method, you can do it by yourselves. I'll just show you these answers now. You need to click on mode phi and 4, because it's cubic. The coefficient is 1, minus 6, then we have 13, and lastly we have minus 10. And over here it is 2. Yes, that is a real solution. Then 2 plus I, 2 minus I, those are 2 imaginary solutions. That's the answer. Graphing is done by mode 7. Here, please do this by yourselves and then check for the answers. And here are the answers. Again, another cubic one directly in the calculator. Here you can see the answers. Now, what about this one? So the first part we have already done, the sign change. That is very basic. That is by Descartes' rule. Now, what about this? There is no way we can substitute u as x squared here. It's not possible, right? Because you have x squared, x cubed, x power 4. And even you can't take x common out because this is a constant term. Now in such cases, see, most probably this won't be asked for you in the exam because you need a graphing calculator exactly to graph this. And even if they ask you, which is a very, very rare case, I'll tell you how we can solve it. To start solving, we need our calculator. Let's go to mode and 7 for table. Now type this, x to the power 4 Then what do we have? Minus 3x cubed. Then we have negative 5x squared plus 3x, and lastly we have plus 4. Press equal to, this option won't be there, just press equal to. Now let's start at say minus 5, end at 5. I don't know the value, so I'm just taking them at minus 5 to 5, and then the step, let it be 1. Now look for a value where you get f of x as 0. Yes, I got one value. So this is a solution in the sense, this is a factor. X is equal to minus 1 will be x plus 1. So x is equal to minus 1, right? Take it inside, it will be x plus 1. So this one is a factor of this particular equation. What I mean is, if you divide by this particular term, I will get a remainder 0, and I can depress this polynomial. In the sense, I can reduce the degree of the polynomial. Now for x to the power 4 problem, if they come, you have to follow this method. Put this in the calculator, you will get one or more solutions. Let's just check down. So you have one more solution. Even x plus 1 is also a solution. So you have more than one solution. Okay, you got nearly 3 roots over here only. If you just extend it, I think so you'll get all the solutions if you want. Look over here. I'll write the solution. Whatever f of x is 0 is the solution. X is equal to minus 1 is one solution. X is equal to 1 is one more solution. And then if you go down, you got one more, that is x is equal to 4, not 5, is one more solution. And then I don't know the values, but if I extend it a little more, I'm sure you will get one more solution. It might be, maybe 8 or 9, something like that. You can try it. But now it's up to you to choose one. We will just choose one and we will reduce it to cubic form. How do we do that? By synthetic division. Write the coefficients. We know synthetic division. Write 1, minus 3, minus 5, 3 and 4. We need to know the synthetic division method. And what is x value here? Minus 1. I can even take x value of 1 up to you guys. What I'll do is I'll take 1. It's easier. Okay, I've taken 1. Now we will do the methods of synthetic division. The first number just goes down over here. And now what you need to do is multiply this with this and write it out over here. So when you multiply 1 times 1, it'll be 1. See, some students do the mistake of 1 times 1 is 2, Because I remember in the class when I was teaching my students, I did the same thing. I can't remember when, but I had written the same thing, 1 times 1 or something. I wrote it as 2. And I got the wrong answer. But then anyways, we realized it later on. But see, simple errors, you never know, you might do it. So be very careful. Double check that. 1 times 1 will be 1. Add it up, you'll get negative 2. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2 itself. Add it up, you'll get negative 7. Multiply it over here, you will have negative 7. And now when you add it up, it'll be minus 4. Minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Add it up, it's 0. Now, if at all you don't get the 0, that means you have done some wrong. Because this is a 0 itself, right? You must get it. Now, whatever the solution is remaining, see, this is a remainder, ignore it. Since it's power 4, now the reduced form will be x power 3. 1x power 3 minus 2x power 2 minus 7x minus 4. This is the remaining part. Now, which x value we had taken? We had taken x is equal to 1. So that is one solution. Let's find the other solutions from this particular equation. All we have to do over here is mode, then we have to press 5 and option number 4. What are the coefficients? It's 1, minus 2, minus 7, and lastly we have negative 4. We are getting one solution as 4. We knew that. Minus 1 also we knew. And now look over here. We are just getting two solutions. That means one of it is repeated. So we have x is equal to 1. We have x is equal to 4. We have x is equal to negative 1, right? So these are the only roots. There is no other roots. So how much ever you extend this, in the table, you will only get 3 roots. Now, which is the repeated root? Now, since over here we have degree 4, maximum roots must be 4. And we have only 3. That means we can't have imaginary. Imaginary is 2 roots, right? We can't have them. So we know 3 real roots are there. 1 is repeated. Now, which one is repeated? Now what you can do is, you know that Descartes rule we do, right? Sign changes. What happened over here? There is sign, see over here, yes, yes, no. That means two positive roots and two negative roots. Can you see that? There are two positive roots, yes. Where are the two negative roots? This is the whole square. In the sense, this is a repeated root of multiplicity 2. There are 2 minus 1 root. This is how we find it. So I will repeat this question. First, you need to use your table and find how many roots you can. Because see, if they give you x power 4, it will be simple to solve. They can't give you a very complicated one because you don't have a graphing calculator. Then what you do is, you need to find one of the factor, the easy factor, and do synthetic division, and your question will be reduced. You won't get more than x power 4. Generally, you will get within x power 3 itself. But in case you get x power 4, do synthetic division and reduce it, or this is called depressed polynomial. Now, you know one of the root is equals 1. We have already taken it. Then we get this equation, right? You need to solve it in calculator. But we just got two roots only. That is 4 and minus 1 were the solution. So now you need to know that there were 3 degrees, but you got only 2 solutions. That means 1 is repeated. Now, how do we know which is repeated? That is from Descartes' rule. We know 2 positive solutions must be there, which is 1 and 4. What about the negative solutions? It's only minus 1. That means it's 2 times repeated. So that is how we get it. And you can see here the solutions over here, minus 1, 1 and 4. So that will be the final answer. And the graphing can be done directly by mode 7 table. Now this one, how would you solve it? Here, don't go to do the method which we just now did. Here it's much simpler. What is it? You take u as x squared. So what happens to u squared? It is x power 4, and now substitute. It will be u squared minus 21 u plus 80. Now solve this up. How do you solve this? Quadratic. Let's do mode phi 3. All you do is mode phi and 3, and now type in the coefficients 1, minus 21, and lastly we have 80. Write the values properly, and the answer is 16 and 5. So let's write it out. Both the answers are there. You can only have maximum 2 answers. U is 16, u is equal to 5. Now you need to find the solutions of x, but you know u is x squared. This is equal to, and x squared over here is equal to 5. So what are the solutions? X will be square root of 16, that's plus or minus 4, and x will be is equal to plus or minus square root 5. So the final answer will be plus 4 minus 4 plus root 5 minus root 5. These are the solutions, all the 4 solutions. Here we do it as a quadratic and then solve it up. You can see here. So these are the solutions. Where is it? Final answers plus minus 4 plus and minus root 5. Graphing can be done directly by calculator mode 7. And the first part is Descartes' rule, sign changes, which we did in the question number 10. Here, directly in calculator, you will get the answers. This one is very simple. Just do mode 5 and 4, you will get these answers. And here as well, again, it's quadratic directly. And we did such problem already. What you need to do in the calculator, I'll show you the calculator part. You need to press mode 7 and type this equation. That is alpha x to the power 4 minus 3x cubed. And then we have minus 3x squared minus 75x minus 700. So all you just double check the equation, okay? Because if you have done a simple error, say with the sign or something, it will be an error, huge error. You can't get the correct answer. Now press equal to. This will not be there. It will directly ask you to start at say minus 5. But since this is a huge, it's better we take bigger values. But now let's try with minus 5 until 5 and step of 1. Look over here, we got one answer. That's more than enough. Let's check whether there is any other answer. No, only one answer is there. That is x is equal to how much over here? It's negative 4. So we know x is equal to negative 4 is a solution. So if we divide this by negative 4 by synthetic division, you will get in terms of cubic, and we can easily solve it. Let me do that. Here the coefficients are 1, minus 3, minus 3, minus 75, minus 700. Now this problem over here, the synthetic division divisor is -4. This goes down as it is 1. Over here it will be -4. Add them up, it will be -7. 7 times 4 is 28, but negative and negative makes it positive 28. And then add them up, it will be 25. 25 times 4 is 100, but it will be -100 over here, and you will have -175. So now what about this? -175 times 4, it'll be positive, negative, and negative. 400 plus 75 times 4 is 150, 300. It'll be 700, yes. It has to be 0, okay? But do it properly and then write 0. Now this is correct. So now the cubic equation formed from this, the depressed polynomial, will be x cubed minus 7x squared plus 25x minus 175. Now we know one of the root is already -4. What about the other roots? Just use the calculator. Mod 5 and 4. These are the coefficients: 1, -7, 25, and -175. And the answer is 7. Phi I minus phi I. Over here we got already one -4 root. So other one is 7. X is equal to plus or minus phi times I. So that's the solutions over here. Let's look into the solutions. Here, this is by Descartes' rule. This method is too huge. It's not reasonable. You have to do synthetic division for all these. It's just crazy. You get the remainder over here and over here. So what you're doing is these two are the factors, but that's no use. So the best way is what I'm just telling you in the calculator. And this is the answer. And the solutions are, you can see, -4, 7, plus and minus phi I. Here it's the same thing, just like what we did just now. Please try it by yourselves and then check for the answers. Here the final answer is -3 2 times. It's repeated, just like what we had. We had a problem right at the beginning, repeated 0, and plus or minus 8i. And here again it's a similar problem. The answer is 4. Now again 4 is repeated here 2 times, and then -2i and plus 2i. And what about these problems? Here now there is no way you can depress this, in the sense I can't write it in terms of u as x cubed. No, that is not going to work. But here you can see there is x throughout. So what I will do is I'll remove x throughout, and it's going to be x power 4 minus 8x squared minus 9. And now how do I solve this? I will assume u to be x squared and u squared will be x power 4. So leave, okay, this is all equal to 0, right? Now what is one solution? X is 0. That is one solution. Now let's solve this one. It will be u squared minus 8u minus 9 equals 0. Let's use a calculator and solve. You have to solve this equation. So mod 5 and 3, it's quadratic. So it's 1 minus 8, and lastly we have minus 9. The solutions are 9 and minus 1. So u is equal to 9, u is equal to minus 1. And this is x squared. U is assumed to be x squared is 9. X squared is minus 1. So what do we get is x will be plus or minus 3. Y square root of 9 is plus or minus 3. What about x over here? It's -1. When you take square root over here, it's imaginary number. It's plus or minus imaginary number. So the final answers are x. Solutions are what? One is 0. Then we have 3 minus 3, I minus I. So these are all the possible solutions. These are all the solutions, not possible, actual solutions. There are 5 roots, and these are the 5 roots. So you can see in the final answer, whichever method you do, ultimately these are the final answers. Say 3, 0, minus 3, 0, 3, and then I and minus I. Now here we have to represent this in an equation. See, the graph is given. What sort of polynomial is this? So it's very easy. It's just multiplication of polynomials. Okay, over here. What you do is look at these. What are these points? 1, 2, 3. X is at -3 and x is at 2. So we know x equals -3, x equals 2 are the solutions for this particular equation. It's a quadratic. Now, how do you write the factors? X, take it inside, will be plus 3, and over here x will be minus 2. Okay? And now solve it up. X times x is x squared, x times 2 is minus 2x plus 3x, and lastly we have minus 6. This is all equal to 0, or you can ignore that because you're just interested in the equation. Now simplify this, x squared plus x minus 6. This is more likely the answer. Now here you can have some, constants, like in the sense you can multiply throughout by 2 and stuff, but this is the basic equation for this particular graph. You can see the final answer, x squared plus x minus 6. That's it. Now here as well, you're not finding the exact equation because see, x squared and 2x squared both have the solution of x is equal to 0. It's repeated. But that is not the point. We are just finding the basic equation. X squared is enough. So here, what is the solutions? Minus 2, 1, and 3. So x, when you take it inside, will be plus 2. When you take it over here, minus 1. And over here is minus 3. So that's the answer. Plus, minus, minus. And now multiply them. X squared minus x plus 2x minus 2 and x minus 3. Simplify this, it will be x squared plus x minus 2. You can write this first, it will be easier to multiply. Now we are x cubed plus x squared minus 2x minus 3x squared minus 3x plus 6. This is just polynomial multiplication. Binomial and trinomial. Now simplify x cubed. There is minus 3 and plus 1, it's minus 2 now. It's minus 2 over here. X squared. And what about this? Minus 5x plus 6. This is the final answer. Here you can see it is x cubed minus 2x squared minus 5x plus 6. That's how we do it. Even over here, it's the same thing, but there are 4 zeros, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4. So what happens is the solution, whatever you get, will be in power 4. Such problems generally don't come, but still, it's not that difficult. The factors are x plus 1, x minus 1, x minus 2, and x minus 4. You can do one thing, you can solve these two and these two. It will be, see, x squared, x plus and minus 1. See, it is like a plus b, a minus b. What is that identity? It is a squared minus b squared. So I'll directly write it's x squared minus 1. Even if you solve it by FOIL method, you'll get this answer. And what about over here? We have to multiply. It will be x squared minus 4x minus 2x plus 8. And now simplify this. It's going to be x squared minus 6x plus 8. You have to multiply with x squared minus 1. So it will be x power 4 minus 6x cubed plus 8x squared minus x squared plus 6x minus 8. And now solve it up. It will be x power 4 minus 6x cubed plus, it'll be 7, not 9, it'll be 7x squared plus 6x minus 8. That should be the final answer. Here you can see it corresponds to this. So this is how we solve these type of problems. Now one more real world problem here. Some fish jump out of water. When the fish is out of water, its location is above sea level. When the fish dives back in the water, its location is below sea level. The biologist can use polynomial functions to model the location of the fish compared to sea level. A biologist noticed that a fish at sea level is at these values over here and 3 minutes from noon. Graph a polynomial function that could represent the location of the fish compared to the sea level y in centimeters and x in seconds from noon. Now this is not at all a difficult problem, it's just a lengthy problem. See over here, all these values are the factors. If I write the factors like this, plus 2, plus 1, x is minus 1, x is minus 2, and x is minus 3. You have to just multiply them and solve it up because these are at sea level. See now over here like this, right? The fishes jump up, down, right? So these solution points are known. Now we need to know the polynomial function based on that. So it will be how much? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X to the power 6 will be the final answer, something like that. So the factors are, you have to just multiply them, you get x to the power 6. So that's how. Now here, instead of solving it all one by one, I forgot to tell you that x plus 3, x minus 3 is there. Then you have x plus 2, x minus 2, x plus 1, x minus 1. All you do is square it up, x square minus 3 square. That's the first one. X square minus 4 square. This is the rule, a plus b, a minus b the whole square. A plus b, a minus b is a square minus b square. Then we have x square minus 1 square. Sorry, this is 2 square. Now when you simplify, it will be x square minus 9 multiplied with x square minus 4 multiplied with x square minus 1. And now you can multiply them with each other and solve it up. Here is the answer. That's the final function. And this is the graph for it. You can see it's going up, down, up, down, up, down. And the graph passes through the zeros and shows the reasonable location of the fish above and below the sea level. So this is what it shows. Last problem here. After introducing a new product, a company's profit is modeled by the polynomial function. In 2012 and 2017, the company's profit product was $0. Graph the polynomial function that could represent the amount of profit P of X in thousands of dollars X years since 2010. Now here, in 2012 and 2017, it is 0 and 0. But they have told since 2010. So this is 2 and this is 7. So your factors are x minus 2, x minus 7, because x is equal to 2, right? 2012 is 2 years from 2010, and over here it's 7 years. Multiply this, it will be x squared minus 2x plus 14. Sorry, x squared. No, I just messed it up. X squared minus 7x minus 2x plus 14. Now simplify this, it will be x squared minus 9x plus 14. That is the function. Now you can graph this. Okay, we will graph it. I will just graph it over here itself. We know these are the solutions, right? But x squared, what does it mean? It means that the graph will open like this upwards, right? Goes down, something like this. Now, if you analyze this graph properly, what it means is basically you were going under loss for so many years, you're under loss, and now you're going constantly above profit. But in general, you can model it other way around as well. You can just change this coefficient because this is the base of the graph. You can multiply this by anything if you want. And now you can have, say, like this would be a better sense, right? From year to year, you can see the made profit, and then it is going down and it is having 0, and it might generally do a loss. Then it might pick up like this in the future or something like that. But from this graph and from whatever information we have until 2017, the graph is something like this. So that would be more reasonable answer, because see, now after introducing a new product, usually the company's profit will go higher, rather than loss. So this is the more accurate graph, you can say. So you can see here, this is the more accurate graph. It will be opening downwards. What you can do is you can just multiply by the function minus 1. Now here you can multiply anything like 31.25, it's fine. The base of the function, what was it? This is the thing. This must be there. Then other things can be multiplied based on what you want. But mainly this would be a reasonable graph, you can say. So that is the end of this problem. Plenty of type of problems. Over here, main thing is understanding how to use the calculator for equations. And if it is in terms of, power 5 or power 6, you can write it in terms of u and get it as quadratic. U is equal to x squared, or say, imagine you can even try u is equal to x cube if the question permits that. There is x power 6 plus x3. Now you can use this one as well. And then u square will be x power 6 and rearrange and write it. So it's similar to the previous one. Be thorough with the question 10, and then this one also will be very easy for you guys. Question 12 is on composition of functions. Here we have been given f and g, the coordinates x, y points are given, and we need to find f composed g and g composed f. Now we need to state the domain and range of each. There are different methods to do it, but I'll tell you the table method, which I generally prefer. So let me tell you what exactly is composition.
So f, that round means composed, f composed of g. So now imagine f is a function f of x and g is a function g of x. Now x means what? Any value, right? Now f composed g means f of, instead of x we have to put the function g of x itself. This is the thing. So now if g of x value is say phi, it'll be f of phi. That's what it means. It's composed inside another function. We will come to the equations part in a while, but now we will do the coordinates. Now look over here, it's f composed of g of x, right? So what I would always do is I'll write g of x first because we need the value to input first, right? The inside function is g of x, so g coordinate. G is x and y. I'll write 4, minus 4, minus 2, minus 1, minus 4, 0, and lastly 6 and minus 5. What about f? It is x and y, and the thing is over here, it's minus 8, minus 4, 0, 4, 2, 6, minus 6, minus 2. So this is the thing. Now what happens over here is you need to start composing this, like in the sense, see what is f of x now. Oh, wait, sorry, what is g of x first? X is what? 4, y is minus y. So these values will be the input of f, because see over here, g of x. What is g of x exactly? Y value of g. So this is the thing. So here g of x becomes minus 4. For this is the domain. First, let's consider, see how it basically works is, if I write it in detail, f of g of x is there, right? It will be g of 4. Now we write it as, this is equal to what? F of g of 4 is minus 4. Now see, what is f of minus 4? Is there minus 4 value? It is not at all there. These are not at all matching. So that means there is none. For this, it's not. This is it. Now next one, g of what? It will be minus 2. So what is g of minus 2? That is basically f of minus 1, because g of minus 2 is minus 1. Now what is minus 1 in the x value? That is not there, so that's it, leave it. F of g of what? Minus 4 is the next point, and over here, this is supposed to be big brackets generally. And what is f of minus 4? It's 0. F of 0 is, do we have 0? Yes, we have domain as 0. See, x value 0 is 4. So this is the answer. F of minus 8 is not there. If f of minus 8 was there, it would have been minus 4. But these are all not the answers. Last one, f of g of 6. What is the answer? F of minus 5. Do we have minus 5 here? No, this is it. So there is only one value for this particular composition. F composed of g is only one answer. Now realize, what is the domain which we initially put? What is the x value which we initially started with? It's this. This is the domain. Domain is minus 4. And what is the range? Range is, domain is minus 4. Range is basically this answer what we got for 0, 4. See this over here. It's positive 4. Now don't think this is minus 4. This, no. You should see what is the domain, this one, right? We started with, now 0 was over here, this is the range. So this is the domain, all the x values, and this will be the range. Range, domain, domain, range. Now if at all the values are answers, see, match them. See, you have to just go like this, match. Do we have? Yes, matching. This is the range. So that's how we do it. But these all do not match. So not there, not there, not there, not there for this one. So that is how we do this. We will do the other part as well. Now I hope you understand the first one. You can see over here, the domain was minus 4, range is 4. Only for one value, that is g of minus 4, the answer was f of 0 and we got 4. The table one, it's easier to understand. Let's do the table again. Now it is g of composed of f. That means g of f of x. So now put the f of x function table first. F is what? X and y. Minus 8, minus 4, 0, 4, 2, 6, minus 6, minus 2. Now I'll show you the arrow method from the table itself. Okay, x and y. Over here we have 4, minus 4, minus 2, minus 1, minus 4, 0, 6, minus 5. If you can analyze like this also, it's okay.
So you should just put this value, okay, where it matches. Over here there is answer, so you can, but it's trickier. This is much easier. Now let's look. We have to input f of x. This is minus 8. What is the answer? It is minus 4. Is there minus 4? Yes, there is a domain over here. Minus 4 is there. What is the answer? 0. So for the domain, one coordinate, minus 8 is 0. This is what? For f composed of, sorry, not f composed of g, it's g composed of f. So over here we have g composed of f. First coordinate. Next one, 0, it becomes 4. Is there 4? Yes, 4 is also there. So what is the answer? Minus 4. So 0, comma, minus 4. What about 2? 6 is also there. So the answer is minus 5. For 2, it is minus 5, not 6. 2, minus 5. And lastly, we have minus 6, that is minus 2. Over here, even this one is there, minus 2. So the answer is minus 1. For minus 6, what do we have? Minus 1. So these are the coordinates. So the domain is all these values, range is all these values. Domain x values, range y values. So that's the answers. So now if you see the final answer, it will be these coordinates. You can see over here, minus 8, 0, 0, comma, minus 4, 2, comma, minus 5, and lastly is minus 6 and minus 1. So the domain over here is all these x values and range is all the y values. So the first one, we just had one coordinate, right? Minus 4, 4. That's the answer. For the second one, we have 4 and 4. So that's how we solve this. These are just simple, the same thing over here. Now, even from this given function, you can see now f of g of x means we need to start with g. What is this? 8. Is there 8 over here? Yes. This and this. Now, what about this one? Minus 12, minus 5, no minus 5. So not there, ignore this. 0 is 5, there is no 5. 1, no 1. Only one domain over here. The coordinate is 6 and minus, comma 12. See, where is the coordinate? 6 and 12. X value or domain is 6. Domain is always the x-axis. Range is the y-axis. That's 12. Now what about the next one? Over here also the same method, but you have lots of values. So this is it. And what about the next problem? Same thing. You can go with the table. Table is better to understand because students tend to do mistake in this. Okay, it's not that difficult, but I know a lot of students, try this method and mess it up. So that's why I generally tend to say to do the table method itself. You can see over here as well. Over here there is nothing, nothing matches. So that means it's a null set over here. See over here there is nothing, no domain matches with any range. See minus 8 is 2, there is no 2 over here, no 1 over here, no minus 3, no 7. So it's null set. This circle and a line is null set. And over here also null set. There's nothing that matches, so it's undefined. Now there is no coordinates at all, so you write undefined. Similarly, please do try the answers over here as well. It's null set over there, and over here your coordinates. You can do it by yourself and then check the answers. Now let's go to equations. Now these are easier, I feel, because the first part takes more time. This one over here is composition of functions. See, f composed of g means f of g of x. Generally we write big brackets like this. This is the meaning. This means it's f of g, or it is f of g of x. So all these are the same things. Okay, this is a circle, not an O. So that's how we do it. Now what does this mean? Simple, I'll just use the first one only, ignore these two. Here, whatever is the function of f of x, leave it, put g of x over here. Now, what is g of x given to us? X plus 5, right? It's shown over here. Put x plus 5. That's it. Now, what is f of x? F of x is originally how much? 2x. Now here, look, I'll write over here. F of x is 2x. But now what do I have? Instead of x, I have x plus 5. So 2 will remain. This x changes from x to x plus 5. That's it. So here this is basically 2, not x, x plus 5. Now multiply this 2 inside, it will be 2x plus 10. That is your final answer. Now the originally function which was put inside, what is that? The domain. We started with x plus 5. The range is the output. What is that? This one. Both are polynomial. The domain and range is
all real numbers. You can see here. This is what we had inputted, right? Initially, x plus 5 is inputted. And then the final answer is what? 2x plus 10. That's what we got. Now here the other way around. We'll do it now. The domain and range is all real numbers because it's just a polynomial. It's a linear function. Now what about g of f of x, like this? Same thing. G of what is f of x? 2x. Now what does g of x say? G of x is x plus 5. Now g of 2x must be 2x plus 5. Wherever x is there, you substitute this value. This is 2x plus 5. That's it. You can't simplify it further. So this is also a polynomial. All real numbers are the solutions. And here now we will do this quickly. F of g of x. And over here g of f of x. Now what do we do is, inside g we have to put minus x plus 8, and over here we have to put minus 3x. And what happens next? Here you need to see what is f of x. It is just 3 into x, right? But what you have to do is minus 3, instead of x you put minus x plus 8. This is the substitution. Instead of f of x, we have x plus 8. So minus 3, instead of this x, we put whatever is there inside. Now for here, what do we do? This is minus, sorry, I should not write g of, directly substitution now. G of x is so much, but we have minus 3x. So instead of x over here, minus x becomes minus 3x again. Just this x part is changed. Plus 8 remains. Now multiply this, it will be plus 3x minus 8, 3s are 24. And over here we will have 3x plus 8. That's the answers. So again, they are a linear function. All real numbers are the solutions. You can see these are the answers. Yes, they're correct. And all real numbers in both the cases are the domain and the range. Now, if you're thinking what is the domain, what we initially take in f of g of x value is the domain. The final output is the range. That's how we do it. Always, domain is what we input, the range is what we get as the solution. Same thing here. Please do it by yourselves. You'll get a quadratic equation even over here, the range and domain. Okay, now it's quadratic. Oh, it's important. Let us solve this over here. So what happens is, I'll do one thing properly, the other one you can do it by yourselves. It's g of x, the first function. So instead of g of x, what do we put? X minus 6. And now here there are two x's, right? Wherever x is there, you will substitute that. X minus 6 the whole square plus 6 into x minus 6 minus 2. I hope this much is clear. You just substitute these values and now solve it up. What is x a minus b the whole square? You should know the identity. It is a power 2 plus 2ab. Sorry, it's minus, right? So it will be minus 2ab over here. A squared minus 2ab plus b squared. Don't forget that formula. Now over here it will be x squared minus 2 times x and 6 is 12x plus 6 squared is 36. Plus over here just multiply 6x minus 36 minus 2. Now simplify this. X squared, how many x's are there? Minus 12 and plus 6 will be minus 6x, and 36 minus and plus becomes 0. Only minus 2 will remain. Now this is the answer. Okay, what is your domain? This was the domain what we considered, and this is the range what we got the answer. Domain is all real numbers. Over here you can put any x, you'll get the answer. But this is quadratic. Now what happens in quadratic? It's a parabola. It will be something like this somewhere. You won't have all the possible values. So you need to find exactly where this is touching. Now here, how exactly will you find where it opens up or down and which is this point? Now you need to know about parabola. I'm sure you know about parabola. We have solved about parabola. Now this is positive. That means it opens upwards. So all the values above this point are the range. But how do you find this point? Do you know how to find the vertex? X-axis of the vertex is given by minus b by 2a. This is the formula. Now what is minus b? B is minus 6, minus of minus 6.
divided by 2 times a is 1. So over here, when we solve this, we will get positive 6 by 2, that is 3. Now, what does this 3 mean? That is the x-axis where the vertex lies. This is not what we want. We want the y value. Okay, this is good. We got the x-axis where the vertex lies. So we know x plus 3 somewhere like this it'll lie. What is the y value? So all you need to do is in this equation, put this x value, that will be y. Equations are y is equal to f of x is equal to, right? So now here, if I do 3 square minus 6 times 3 minus 2, what's going to happen? You're going to get 9 minus 18 minus 2. So it is 11. So the y value is 11. Somewhere over here is what the parabola is lying. So till positive 11, you can have, and above it, not below it. So this is the function. And the range will be all y values greater than or equal to 11 will be the answer. So this is how we solve it. We'll do the other one also because now this is a bit lengthy, right? I mean, we'll do it again. We'll practice a bit more. But the first answer over here, you can see when you solve it up, we got this as the answer. That is the range. This is the domain given over here. And you can see it's, okay, now what did I do? It's minus 11. Now, did I write minus 11? Sorry, I've written positive 11. It's minus 20 plus 9. It's minus 11. So the graph will be down. It's like this, guys. Sorry for that. It's negative 11. That's the answer. Please be careful. Do everything in the calculator. You'll get the correct answers. So over here, y is greater than or equal to negative 11. Now let's do the next one as well. How do we do this is the domain. Here, f of x is the domain. It's like g of f of x, right? We will substitute the f of x value. It is x squared plus 6x minus 2. And now, what is g of x? X, right? Instead of that, just substitute this entire thing. X squared plus 6x minus 2 minus 6. Simplify this. It's x squared plus 6x minus 8. This is the answer. The domain is quadratic. It's absolutely fine. Quadratic has all possible real numbers as domain. Over here, all real numbers. Okay. But what about the range? Range is only the y values. So what are the y values? Again, we do the same thing. After finding these both, for the range, solve vertex minus b by 2a formula. Minus b is minus 6 divided by 2 times 1. And the answer will be minus 3. Here, this is the x-axis. Don't think this is the final answer. No, this is the x-axis. Now substitute it over here. Instead of x, just put it in the calculator. 3 squared, 6 times. Now it's minus 3. Minus 3, minus 8. Now it's going to be 3 squared is positive 9. Plus minus 3 will be 18. But it's negative 18 and negative 8. So over here, what you can do is 9 minus 8 will be 1. Minus 18 plus 1 will be minus 17. So the range is minus 17. Y values are greater than or equal to negative 17. So that must be the answers. You can see this is the answers we got. But here the range is minus 17 and greater. But domain doesn't matter. It's all real numbers for any polynomial equation. But for quadratic, only the range is an issue. It is restricted. Same way, please do try this and solve it up. You will get the domain and range using the vertex formula. See, this minus b by 2a is the x value of vertex. Then you need to use this whatever value in the function of y is equal to x squared and so on. And now we have a real world problem. Mr. Rivera wants to purchase a riding lawnmower which is on sale for 15% of the original price. The sales tax in his area is 6.5%. Let x represent the original cost of the lawnmower. Write two functions representing the price of the lawnmower p of x after the discount and the price of the lawnmower p of x after sales tax. Write a composition of the function that represents the price of the riding lawnmower. How much will Mr. Ravira pay for the riding lawnmower that originally costed $1,350? Now here, when you purchase something, you got a discount of 15%, but there's a tax that has to be paid in that particular region of 6.5%. So
how can we solve this is they have asked you to write the equations for the price. What is the price? Price would be without discount. Now this is without without the tax, only the discount. So the original price was 1350. We will use that for later. This is X value. But now, for now, we need to know the price in terms of X after the 15% discount. So imagine you're paying 100 dirhams for a thing, some electronics. But you got a 15% discount on this. So how much will you pay? What will be the price? 15 will be reduced. 100 minus 15 dirhams, and 15% will be 15 dirhams. It will be 85 dirhams that you'll be paying, right? Same way, you got 15% discount. That means the price will be 0.85 times the original price, X. So this is the equation for the price. It's always the discount will be subtracted from 100. Okay, 100 minus the discount gives you the price. Now what about the tax, T of X? Now tax is something that's added. Now imagine it's 100 dirhams, okay? Again, 100 dirhams electronics, but you have to pay a tax of say 5%. Then if it is 5%, you add 100's 5% is 5 dirhams, so it'll be 105 dirhams. What happens is for 100 you add that 5. Now over here also for 100%, if you add 6.5%, how much is it? Now it's all in percent, so this will become 1 plus 0.065, because 1, 2, it's 6.5% is 0.65. I'll show you how to calculate that and do it in the calculator. You can solve any percentage. Now right over here, 6.5. Where is percent symbol? That's this over here. Shift and opening bracket gives you that. And over here, if you press SD, you get 0.065. Add 1 to it. Why? Because 100% is 100 divided by 100, it's 1. So the answer over here is 1.065. So the tax is 1.065 times X. So these are the two functions. Now here what happens is you need to find what exactly? Write a composition of functions that represents the price of the riding lawnmower. Okay. Now this one is the discount, right? Discount will be multiplied with the tax, in the sense tax composed of price. Whatever you buy, for that tax will be added, isn't it? So this is the thing. Over here it's gonna be tax is how much? 1.06. So now first of all we'll write it in terms of this. This is what P of X is 0.85x. Now all you do is you multiply this X by 0.85, so it'll be 1.065 multiplied by 0.85x. Now when you multiply this, you get the answer. All I've done is I've typed this out, and the answer is 0.91 you can take. So here 0.905x is the price. So the original price will be reduced by nearly 91%, you can say. Only by 9.5%. 9%, that's it. Okay. Now here what you do is just multiply this, whatever you got with the X. What was the X value they have given? The originally 1350, and now the answer is $1,222. So your lawnmower for this price with the discount and after tax will be 1,222 point something dollars. So this would be the final answer. You can see here, this is what we have done as well. Here, this is the thing. Tax composed of price would give you 1.065 times 0.85. Solve it up, multiplied, you'll get $1,222.09. So that is what will be paid. Now the equations, what did we get? First one is 0.85. Don't write 0.15x. That's wrong. That's only the discount. It's 0.85x is the price. The tax is over here. Always whatever you get added to 1, that will be the tax. And compose tax of price, you'll get the answer. Here we have another real world problem. Please try to solve it by yourselves and then go for the explanation. A sporting goods store is offering 20% discount on shoes. Mariana also has a $5 off coupon that can be applied to a purchase.
She's planning to buy a pair of shoes that originally costed $89. Will the final price be lower if the discount is applied before the coupon or if the coupon is applied before the discount? Okay, this is interesting. See now, let's write what is known. The original cost, OC, is $89. The discount is how much? 20%. So what will be the price? Price will be 80%, right? 80% of X, that means 80% of whatever is there. Let's just write 80%. Now, what is the coupon cost? It's $5. This will be reduced. So now one thing is, after discount, let's try after discount. That will be here, $89. The coupon is, a coupon is added after discount. $89 multiplied by 80%, because after discount you will have this 80% of the price. Then you subtract by 5. Whatever the answer is, this is applying the coupon after discount. But what if it's before? So before discount, the coupon is applied before. It will be 89 minus $5. Then you multiply this by 80%, because whatever is discounted, then you apply the discount, right? 80%. So what is this answer? So let's try it out. Let's type it out in the calculator. It's 89 into 80%. This is the first one. Shift and over here. And then write minus 5. You do not need to use bracket because it's just multiplication and minus. It will automatically give you the answer, but you can also do it. It will be the same. What's the answer? It's $66.2 in this case. Wait, okay, this is fine. Let's change it around. What if I do it minus 5 over here? Sorry, it's already there. Multiplied by 0.8, that is 80%. It's 67. So, which is better? 66 is better, right? You can see we got 66.2 and 67. Now here both are almost the same, but still there's a $1 difference. So if you apply the coupon after the discount, first the discount is done and then you apply the coupon, then you will get 66. Whereas over here, you do the coupon first for the original price, it will be reduced to 84, and then you apply the discount, then you will have to pay $1 more. So that is the answer. So that is the end of question 12. It was a lengthy question. There are different type of problems. Please do go through it properly and try to work out problems by yourselves. The question 13 is to find whether two relations are inverses by using composition. Now here you have been given two functions, f of x and g of x. They both are inverse of each other when you compose f of g of x and you get equal to x. That will be inverse of each other. So this is both x only, right? So we must get x. Let us look into this. It's very, very simple. All you do is compose them, f of g of x, and solve it. What is g of x given as? 1 minus x. So what is the function f of x? X minus 1. But instead of x, I have to put whatever is this. So this goes in place of this. That's the only thing. Here it will be 1 minus x minus 1. See, x will be 1 minus x minus 1. Now solve it up. It will be 1 minus x minus 1. 1 cancels, but this is negative x. So they are not inverse. This is not inverse of each other. You can see that they are not inverse, okay? The inverse is also called as identity function. Now over here, let's try f of g of x. That is over here. And now we will write f of what? G of x is half of x minus 3. Let's try solving this. Wherever x is there, put this. This goes over here. It'll be 2 times half into x minus 3 plus 3. Now this, when you multiply it, this goes off. You will have x minus 3 plus 3. This cancels off x. Yes, they are inverses of each other. You can see over here, they'll be inverse. Yes, that's the answer. Now, what can you see over here, the relation? Now, if you look carefully, here 2 has been multiplied with x. Here half has been multiplied with x. But here this is plus 3 minus 3. So if you look carefully, it is, see, whatever you see, it's inverse of each other. 2, 1 by 2. X
plus minus 3 3. It's kind of like that. You can't take it literally though, because over here the brackets and all, it might get confusing. But in general sense, you can see, yes, they are really the inverse. Over here also you might find, yes, it's minus x. No, the inverse would have been just x plus 1. Now if I just have to prove it, I'll just show you. If I had f of x plus 1. Now over here I'll just put over here x plus 1 minus 1. This cancels x. Yes, that is inverse. Looking at it, you can even tell that is inverse, but it's better to do the composition function to be 100% sure, because it's plus or minus is simple, but this is not. Now even you can prove it like this: g of f of x. I'll show you now. What happens over here is g of, instead of f of x, I'll write 2x plus 3. Now here in this function, wherever x is there, you have to put this. So it's half 2x plus 3, here half minus 3. Only instead of x, I have put 2x plus 3. Now let us solve this up. Here first the brackets, solve it up, it'll be 2x plus 3 minus 3 will cancel. You'll just have 2x and half cancels. What is the answer? X. You do not need to do it both the times. If you just get one x, that's enough. That's the thing. Now here, this is inverse because the brackets are removed. It'll be 5 divided by 5. Yeah, that'll be inverse, Now you might be thinking why this is not there, but the brackets are removed. That's why when you multiply the 5, it'll be, balanced. So you can see if you do the composition, you can easily get it. So just don't directly jump to it, but it's better we do it, Both the sides, it will be inverse, and that's the answer. Even this is absolutely inverse. Looking over here, 2 multiplied, now half is multiplied. They both are inverse. Now here, these two functions do not seem to be inverse, because over here it doesn't match properly, but still, let's see, because if it was 6 or something, it should have been 12 over here, then it would have been inverse. Let's solve this. So h of g of x, and we have h of 1/6 x plus 3, and now substitute over here. Instead of x, you put 1/6 x plus 3 over here, minus 2, and now multiply this x, 6 inside. It'll be 6 by 6, it'll be x plus 3 minus 2. You will be getting x plus 1. So this is not the inverse. You're not getting x, isn't it? Oh, I'm so sorry. It's not x plus 1. Over here, you have to multiply the 6 both the sides. It's going to be 18. But still, the answer is no. It'll be 16 over here. X plus 16, not inverse. So you can see it is x plus 16, not 16. That is the answer. It's not inverses. You don't need to do it again. Try checking and all. Only once. And since it's MCQ, just do it once. It's enough. Now, what about this over here? Just try solving this. If you get x, it is inverse. Otherwise, no, they are not inverses of each other. Now we have a formula problem. The formula for the volume of a right circular cone with a height of 2 feet is given over here. That's the volume formula. Determine whether r, the radius, is the inverse of the original function. So now imagine v, right? V of r we have to take. In the sense, you can write it as v of any other variable. So now this is the thing. Let us solve it. Whatever is this, put it in this r and solve. It'll be 2 by third pi. Instead of r, I have square root 3v 2 pi squared. The square and square root cancels. You're remaining with 2 by 3 pi. And over here it is 3v by 2 pi. So 2 and pi cancels over here. 3 cancels. What are you getting? We started with v. Yes, it is just v. This is inverse. Okay, now this was the composition, v of r, sorry. Now you can do the other way around. Over here, when you do, you must get r only. That variable, the same variable we must get. We can check it out. Now here, square root 3. But instead of v, what do I do? I'll put this out. So 2/3 pi r squared divided by 2 pi. Now let's simplify this. It'll be, see, this is cancelled and this will be cancelled. This one is also cancelled. You're remaining with r squared only. It's r. Yes, absolutely. They both are inverses of each other. You can see here, this is how we get it. So first we find v composition. This is not v. The formula was v, but we are finding v composition of r first and then r composition of v. We are both getting, single variable. So yes, that is the inverses of each other. And over here, another similar one. The formula for the area of a trapezoid A is given over here. Determine whether the height is inverse. So what do you do? Same thing. Compose A composition of H and then H composition of A to just double check it. In this case, whatever H is there, I will just substitute it over here. So it is 2A minus A plus B divided by 2 into A plus B. So instead of H, what did I do? I substituted this. Now then, let me split this out. Here it will be 2A by 2. And this is going to be minus A plus B divided by 2. And over here we have A plus B. It's better to put the brackets. See, this was separate, h by 2 was separate, and this is separate. Okay, now we understand better. Over here, 2 cancels. You're having, now let's multiply this as well. You will have a into a plus b minus, this will be what? A plus b and a plus b the whole square. A plus b the whole square by 2. Okay, now it's just getting more and more complicated. Let us just check the answer over here. Okay, they're not going to simplify it. We'll just leave it like this and try to do the other side. If it matches, then okay. So what we will do over here is, because it'll just take a long time to simplify all this, you have to use a plus b the whole square formula, then multiply this a, try to simplify all that. Now here, instead of h composition of a, instead of a, you put this value. So it's going to be 2 times, instead of a, put h by 2 a plus b minus a plus b. This is it. Now multiply this 2 inside, this cancels off. You are remaining with h times a plus b minus a plus b. Now no, this is not basically, you can remove this h a plus b outside and you can get a plus b outside will be h minus 1, but still this is not the inverse of each other. Okay, so here they got the same thing, but I just removed a common term. But this is enough, the simplification, and you can tell they're not basically the inverse. We're not getting the same answer. Whereas in the previous problem, the volume and radius, it properly we got it. Over here if you had simplified and got A, and over here if you simplified and got H, then yes, absolutely, they both are inverse. And that's the end of this question 13. It is another simple problem. Just remember the composition of functions. Remember substitution properly, which is composed of which, and then you can easily solve these problems. Question 14, the penultimate question, is to simplify expressions in exponential or radical form. It is one of the easiest topics since it's an MCQ. If there are numbers like this, just use the calculator. But if there are variables and numbers, I'll show you how you can solve it now. First thing, for the numbers, just type it out as it is. 4. The exponent symbol, use this one, and then fraction 2 by 7 divided by 7, and that would be answer. Now sometimes you may not have the same answer in the option. See over here. Now we have not got the same form. That's fine. What you need to do is you need to write this down 1.485 somewhere and solve all the options over here. Say shift, and this over here symbol gives you any option for the radical, that is 7, and over here we have 16, and the answer will be the absolute same, 1.485. So this is how we can solve them. Now what about the variables? Then you have to just remember this. I'll write some rules. X to the power a, the whole power b, is x a b. Then what do we have is, this is the power to power, okay? Now what if it is x a multiplied by x b? They're multiplied, the bases are same, multiplied, then it is x a, sorry, not ab, it is a plus b. And lastly, if you have x power a divided by x power b, you will have to subtract xa minus b. These are the important rules. Now radicals, what happens is, if at all you have any radical x, a and b is the radical, this will go down. Whatever is the power, leave it as it is and just write it below it as a fraction. If there is nothing, if it's power 1, okay, and then you have b outside, then it will be x1 by b. These are the few rules you must remember. Now we can easily solve it up. We'll split the radical symbol to these two. Let's split it out.
power 4, 625. This can be done in calculator. Only we'll focus on this. 4 and x square. So what happens? Square divided by 4. This is 2 by 4 is half. This is it. Or it can be like this. It's the same thing. Because whenever you have square, what happens? You write the square root. This is already known as square. That is the way. Now here you can see 3 times 3 is what? 9. 9 by 2. Now 2 can be, this denominator is 2, right? Can be written as a square root, only power 9. This and this are same. What about this one? Cube root 5 separately. Now you can split all the terms. Cube root x, y square also cube root. But it's, it's convenient to write these two together, okay, because it's the same cube root, right? So it'll be 5 cube root. Now what you can do is this one, okay, now I think so they want you to simplify, so you basically write this 1/3 y 2/3. This is what they want, I believe. So let's see. Yeah, that is what they wanted. Over here, even for the number, you can write it as 1/3. So look into the option, what exactly they want, which form you can easily understand over there, but you need to know how to solve it. See over here as well. Radical 4 to 625 is 5. See, when you raise 5 to the power 4, you get 625, right? So that's the inverse basically. And over here now, it will be reduced to half. A real world problem on orbiting. The distance in millions of miles a planet is from the sun in terms of t, the number of days it takes for the planet to orbit the sun can be modeled by this expression over here. So this is t is what? The distance basically. Write the expression in the exponential form. Now here they have told to express in exponential form. So write in exponents. It will be 6 to the power 1/3 t to the power 2 by 3rd. That's it. That's the answer. You can see that's the answer. That's the exponential form. Exponential means powers. Another real world problem on depreciation. The depreciation rate is calculated by this expression given here, where n is the age of the item in years, t is the resale price in dollars, and p is the original price in dollars. Write the expression in radical form for an 8-year-old car that was originally purchased for $52,425. Now here, this is an exponential, right? Let's write over here. What do we know? Do we know what is the resale price? No, let that be in t itself. We know this price, that is 52425. Age is given as 1/8. So just put in the calculator for this. Let's split it out. I'll show you how to split it out. Since it's in radical form, I can write it. Wait, first let me split out 425, the whole power 1/8, and this one t power 1/8. Now you can put this in the calculator and solve. 1 minus 1 value you'll get, multiplied with what? T over here, it's in radicals. Now what is this value? You can put in the calculator and check. You can write the value 42425. Sorry, it's 52425 to the power, that's over here, 1 divided by 8. That gives you, okay, I don't think so they'll write it like this. We will just write this in radical form itself. Directly you can write this. I mean, 52425, that would be the answer. Let's check the answer. Looking at the option, you can, write it. Okay, they have just written this. I thought at least they'll split, but this was very straightforward. Just what they have done is from this, they have written over here. It's more simpler, Anyway, you can look into your options and easily guess which is the correct answer. Now, these are all straightforward. This is 3, this is 4. And you can, over here, this is what exactly. You can do this in calculator directly, but 3 cube is 24. I know 4 to the power 4 is basically 256. That's why you can, if you remember those powers and all, you can easily do it as well. Here, square root and power 3. So, but this is negative. Now, what happens is, I forgot to tell you one thing. If you have x power minus a, that is equal to 1 by x power a. It becomes positive. So now here, what you should do is, this will go down. Now it becomes positive. So you can write it like this, 16 square, and this has 3. But anyways, you can directly put the given question in the calculator and solve. Here all you need to do is write it out, 16 to the power negative 3 divided by 2, and this is your answer. It's 1 by 64. Now that would be the answer. And similarly, please do these problems as well. You will directly get it, I believe. It's 1024 to the power 3 by 5. You don't even see, it's already the final answer itself. It won't be in decimal. You don't have to check and anything. Directly, you can get the answers. And now over here, it's all about powers. We have to use the rule of powers. When they are multiplied, the same basis, what you have to do is you have to add these up. 1 by 3 plus 2 by 5 is the answer. Now you can use calculator directly and get the answer. Otherwise, it will be, you have to just multiply by 5 by 15 plus 3 is 6 by 15. It will be 9 by 15. So x is 9 by 15, or you can simplify it to be x is 3 by 5. So that's the answer. Similarly, over here, what you need to do is 4 by 9 plus 1/4 and solve them up. Directly put these values in the calculator. So, okay, over here, okay, I just realized that I've written it correctly. 5 plus 6, I wrote 9, I don't know why. It should be 11, so it's 11. You can't simplify it. And the next one, you need to just solve it up and you will get the answer. Just put in the calculator like this. Use fraction over here, 4 divided by 9 plus 1/4. You can write even 0.25, get the answer properly. 25 by 36. Same way, try this. Now over here, you just have to take this to the denominator and solve. Why? Because this is equal to y 1 by 4 by 5. This is the thing. Now what you need to do over here is 1 divided by, write the radical outside, 5 y to the power 4. This is the simplified version. See over here. Now here the simplification is a little bit different. I'll tell you what they have done. So here this is correct, 1 by y 4 by 5, right? Now you can make this a whole. You can make this y. How? Imagine you add 1 by 5th to it. It's going to be y to the power 1, right? It will be 5 by 5. So what you do is you will just multiply this by 1/5, 1/5. What is remaining out of 5? 4 parts are there. 1/5 is missing. So if you multiply this basically is 1. You're not doing anything wrong. So you multiply this over here. It will be 1/5 up divided by y 4 by 5 plus 1 by 5. What happens? Y 1/5 by y. This is the answer. So now you got a whole number and only 1/5 on the top. So this is, it's just an extra way. This is also correct. It's not wrong, but it's just that the answers over here are done a little differently. Now, if you're thinking what happened over here, the same thing. You write it as 1 divided by 3/4 positive. How to make this whole? Just multiply b by 1/4 and 1/4. Now, in the numerator, it's 1/4, but denominator, what happens? B to the power 1 or b. So that is the answers. And that is the end of this question. Another simple and straightforward question. If it is only numbers, directly do it in calculators. But if it is variables, make sure you use the rules and solve it up. The final question in the part 1 is the question 15. It is to find inverses of relations. Here we have been told this is a triangle, M and P, and the vertices are given. You need to find the inverse. Now what exactly inverse is? X and y, if you have coordinates, okay, like say 2 and 4, they swap it out. Inverse would be swapping them out. It will be 4 comma 2. Y becomes x, x becomes y. So the inverse relation over here would be 6 minus 8 minus 2 comma 6, and then we have minus 6 comma 4. That would be the answers. Isn't it very simple? So all you need to do is from these points, you need to swap them up. 6 minus 8 minus 2, 6, and minus 6 and 4, and plot them up. That would be the inverse of this particular triangle. All you have to do is swap the x and y and then plot it out. Here you might just get the coordinates. Over here, it's, see, the first part is 7 and 7 itself. Then 9, 4, minus 7 and 3. You can see they just swap. X becomes y, y becomes x. And that's the graph. Now imagine your options are 4 options with only this graph, the inverse graph. Now then don't worry, look at a point. Write the x and y coordinate. x is 3, comma y is minus 7. So swap it up, it'll be minus 7, comma 3. It should be minus 7 and 3. Z becomes z prime or z dash. So this is how easily you can solve all these problems. Please do these by yourselves. They are pretty straightforward over here. And okay, there's one thing, let me show you over here. What happens exactly is, all these are reflected along the 45-degree line. If you see carefully, they're reflected over here at 45-degree line. If you draw a straight line at 45 degrees, that's x is equal to y. Now here, this point and this point are equal distance, this and this equal. Over here, this and this all will be equal. So each point is reflected along the 45-degree line, you can say. That's another way to understand. Now we have functions. How would we solve the functions? They're pretty simple as well. All you need to know is few rules. Whenever they give you a function x plus 2, write it as y is equal to x plus 2. Now here, you need to swap x and y. So this y becomes x is equal to, and x becomes y plus 2. And now solve for this y. Take this to the other side, x minus 2 is equal to y, but this is not y. That is the y inverse or f inverse of x. This is the inverse function. That's it. Now we are looking at inverse. X plus becomes minus 2. That's it. So that would be the inverse, isn't it? Here. That is the inverse. And if you want to graph this, the first one was plus 2 over here. Next one inverse is minus 2. That's it. That's the inverse graph. Similarly, what happens over here? You can do it. It'll just be 1 by 5. Because it's a single term, it's very simple. It'll be 1 by 5. That's the answer. And the original graph was 5x. That means very high. Can you see this? The slope is very high. Whereas the 1 by 5 is very slow, very low slope. Say it's very small slope. Now, when there are two terms, it's not possible to directly do it. You can do it, but it's better to solve it by the simple method. Y is equal to minus 2x plus 1. Swap this x and y. X is equal to minus 2y plus 1. And what you do is, take this y to the other side. It will be 2y is equal to minus x plus 1. And now solve it. Divide both the sides by 2. Y is equal to minus x plus 1 by 2. Or you can also write it as negative x by 2 plus half. That's the answer. So here you can see that's the answer, negative x by 2 plus half. And you can graph them up as well. Now if the graphs are given, by the table, right, mode 7, you can easily verify which is the graph. But generally they'll just ask for this equation. Over here as well, you can simply solve it up. All you need to do is y is equal to x minus 4 by 3. Now swap it up. It will become x is equal to y minus 4 by 3. First take 3 to the other side. It becomes 3x is equal to y minus 4. Take minus 4 to the other side. It becomes plus 4. And that's the answer. And this is how we can solve all these problems directly just by simple methods. Here also, please do it by yourselves and check for the answers. Now these linear functions have no problem at all. They are very straightforward. The graphs are simple, just a linear graph. Even over here, whenever the degree is 1, they're all simple and straightforward. But what if the degree is 2? We have such problems here. Now there is a problem. Let's solve this up. Phi y is equal to phi x squared. What happens? Swap x and y. It becomes x is equal to phi y squared now. Now take this to the other side. It will be x by phi is equal to y squared. I'll write y over here. And what do? I take square root on both the sides. So this is y plus or minus square root x by phi. So this is the answer. Now what happens is, it's a square root function and your plus and minus. Now if you see this, originally it was parabola, something like this, right? Phi means it'll be little thinner. It's something like this. Now square root function, this inverse, I've told you it will be along the 45-degree line. X is equal to y. So it must be something like this, and there is minus also. It'll be like this. Now these are two separate graphs. This is one graph, one graph. If you see that, plus square root x by phi, you can graph it in Desmos or other GeoGebra, other graphing calculators online, and you will see for plus only so much will be there. If you do minus square root x by 5, you will have the remaining part, the down below part. Now here you must understand one thing. There is a relation over here. Anything that is in this line, right, will be coming over here, this line. So what is the domain of this line? It's from minus infinity to 0, right? Whenever you restrict the domain from minus infinity to 0, you will get this part of the graph. So that's minus over here, sorry, minus infinity comma 0, left side. But if it is from positive infinity to 0 to positive infinity, that is all the x values, the domain over here is from 0 to infinity, that will be small bracket. Then what happens is you will have the, okay, I did wrong, sorry. Let me just clear this part. Okay, let me make this clear. Whenever you are in the left side, what is the limit? It is minus infinity to 0. Whenever you have infinity, it will be a small bracket, 0 will be a big bracket. That will be the negative part down. Whereas from 0 to infinity is this part and it's over here. So that is the positive part. Why? Because this, you can see they are the inverse, right? So this part. Here it is 0 to 0 is close bracket and open bracket will be infinity. So that will be the answer. That is the restriction. You can see here the final answer. That is the rough graph. But over here they have written it. Now what they have done over here is they have removed the square root. Okay, this is just simplification. No problem. I'll just show you how that is done. So you have what? Square root x by 5, isn't it? You just multiply and divide both the sides by 5 and 5. That is fine. Nothing's wrong. You know, this is 1 only. So you get 5x by 25 and now you split the square root. So it will be 5x divided by 25 over here. Okay. That's what they have done. That's simplification. Here, this is also correct. Not at all wrong. If this is not there, sorry, over here, when you remove the square root, it becomes 5. Okay. So if at all you can't see this option, this will be the option. That's it. So now then, here you can see what is there. It is f inverse of x for negative part. What is the domain restriction? Here you can see restricted at minus infinity comma 0. Whereas the other positive part, it's from 0 to infinity. That's it. That'll be the graph. Now we'll do one more problem on this. Now here, y is equal to x squared plus 4. Swap the x and y's. It'll be x is equal to y squared plus 4. Take 4 to the other side. X minus 4 equals y squared. Take square root. Y will become equal to plus or minus x minus 4. Isn't it? Now what happens is if you're graphing it, let's just look at the graph and then I'll explain. It's very simple. The positive will be from 0 to infinity. Negative will be from minus infinity to 0. But over here the graph is like this, isn't it? Now this part corresponds to this part, this to this, right? This is along x is equal to y. So that's the thing, that this is the distance. So here all from minus infinity to 0 will be negative. Where is minus? See, this one is negative infinity to 0. Whereas the positive part you can see will be from here 0 to infinity. That's how we solve these. We have a real world problem about weight. The formula to convert weight in pounds to stones is P of x, x by 14, where x is the weight in pounds. Find the inverse and describe its meaning. Now when you find inverse, now what is being found out? Pounds to stones, right? It will be stones to pounds, just inversing, right? So this goes inside and what you're solving will be the other thing. Now let's write this. Y is equal to x by 14. So swap it, x is equal to y by 14. So 14 goes to the other side. 14x is equal to f inverse of x. Now here you can see pounds are found out. Pounds to stone. X is weight in pounds, X is weight in pounds. So pounds divided by 14 would be the stones, right? Now when you multiply stones, that is x is now stones because f inverse is conversion of other way around. When you multiply 14 into stones, you get pounds. It's just the inverse. So you can see the first part, that is the answer. And what was the next part? Now the part B is to graph P of x and P inverse of x and then to find the weight of a dog that is 2.5 stones. Now we know the conversion of stones to pounds is 14 into x. So just multiply it by 2.5, you'll get the answer. But let's do it by graph. Let's see the graphs here. So this is the graph. And now where is 2.5 stones? Somewhere over here, right? You need to draw a straight line and it will be somewhere over here. Okay, it might be 35 plus or 40 something. But you can just multiply and check the answer over here. It is 35 pounds. 2.5 corresponding. If it's very straight, you will get the exact answer. So that's how we solve this. Again, another straightforward problem, but you might only get the conversion, not graphing and stuff. And this is the last problem, and this is a crazy long problem. Let's see how it is done. DeAndre is designing a code to send secret messages. He assigns each letter of the alphabet to a number where A is equal to 1, B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3, and so on. And then he uses C of x is equal to 4x minus 9 to create the secret code. Write the inverse of this function and describe the meaning. Let's do the first part and find the inverse now. So we have y is equal to 4x minus 9. So x is equal to 4y minus 9. So rearrange and find for only y. It will be x plus 9 is equal to 4y. Y is equal to x plus 9 divided by 4. So this is the inverse function. Inverse of C inverse of x. So this is how you can decode the code. Basically, you can find the meaning of the code. The inverse can be used to convert the secret code to the original message. Now here, make tables of C of x and C inverse of x and use the table to decipher the message. Now this is never going to come for the exam. What you need to basically do is write out all the the code over here for these alphabets. Write the code. Now if C of x is 1, if you put 1, like if it is letter A, what is the value you get? Now you put it in this given equation and you'll get C over here. Instead of 4x, you put 1 minus 9, you get minus 5 as the value. Now for B, if it's letter B, x is 2, right? Substitute, you'll get these values. So you have to do for all the letters. And once you get all the letters, see, whatever A value is 1, in terms of a secret code, that is minus 5. The value is minus 5. If it is, say, F, it is 15, and so on. Now, in order to decipher it, we need to use the inverse function. So what are the values which we were asked to find out? If we go back to the question, we have to find out these, right? So here, put those values. Like say x is equal to 15. For the inverse, what happens? Put it over here and solve. What is the value? X is 6, right? What is the value of 6? 6 is F. A, B, C, D, E, F. So over here, F. Now this is what we need to do for all those digits. Over here they have done it for literally all the digits. Over here, you don't need to do for all inverses, only the code whichever they have asked. They have done it for all and found it out. So A, B, C, D, all these are the deciphering words. So they had asked us how many? 15, 75, 47. So what is 15? It's F we had seen at that time. What about 75? You have to search where is 75? It is U. And 47, over here you have to just search 15 and so on. So the message was basically functions. So that was the secret code. Just for a word, it will take you so much long. So imagine if he's going to send a sentence, that's going to take him days, And that is the end of part 1. Finally, we have finished all the questions. I wish you all the very best for your exams. Please do study well. Don't keep it at the last minute. Try to revise as early as possible. If you have any doubts, please do post them in the comments and I'll try to get back to you very soon. You can find all the explanation videos of part 1 questions and part 2 questions in my channel. I just want to thank each and every one of you for supporting my channel, for subscribing to my channel, for sharing my videos with your friends. I really appreciate it so much. I'm so grateful to all of you guys for all the support, for all the love. I just want to wish you all the very best. I hope everyone gets great marks in their exams. I wish you good luck and take care.